Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to the Hungarian Grand Prix qualifying watch-along. How are we all doing today? Hey, we had a good week and a good weekend so far, wherever you are. Bit clammy here in old Lincoln, here in the UK, but otherwise all good. Very much looking forward to this one, as always, of course. Little sprinkling of rain in Hungary right now, which wasn't originally forecast for the weekend, so that might spice things. I've just finished watching the F2, which was absolutely bonkers towards the end, and it's looking pretty close out there. And McLaren, I think they were just talking on Sky actually about it. They look like the class of the field at the moment. So really looking forward to what we've got in store this afternoon. Plenty to get into once we get there, of course. We'll have a good chat, a bit of Q&A and a waffle before we get started. Qualifying itself starts in about 25 minutes from now, so a little bit of time to catch up, see how we're all doing. Hey to Yori in chat, hey to Lee as well, to Kevin, to Pascal, to Alfie, good to see you all. I'm quite looking forward to this one, as always, when it comes to qualifying. Just nice to kick back and... kick back, I sound like I'm trying to be down with the kids. Kick back or whatever, but I think we're going to have a good one, I think. And I've probably just jinxed it. It'll be terrible and massively anticlimactic, but should be good. I hope you've enjoyed the F2 if you watched that as well. That moment through turn 4, was it between Behrman, Crawford and Correa, was absolutely bonkers. I mean, what on earth is that about? 3 wide into turn 3 in Hungary. Crazy stuff. Hey Kaori, hey to Em as well. Good to see you. Kevin said could have some weather during the quali. Yeah, it's just started raining. I know it absolutely hammered it down, didn't it? Was it Wednesday in the paddock? So yeah, we might see a good downpour. What I quite like, I think we had it. Was it Silverstone? It was a couple of weeks ago now. I've slept since then, but I think Silverstone was it was started wet, didn't it? And then as the session went on, it dried out and rain was a threat and kept popping up again. That's the kind of session I really like. So quite looking forward to seeing how the weather impacts things. But even if it's a dry session, it's still going to be pretty interesting. And also, we've got to look at things like it's a bit cooler today than it was yesterday. So track temperature's down, so that might play more towards Mercedes' hands because they tend to perform better in the cooler conditions. It's going to be fascinating, and I can't wait to see as well how things work out at Red Bull with Max Verstappen has this whole big update on the car, which apparently they've bought 3 weeks early according to Max Verstappen. I was just reading, I think I caught the headline prior to going live, that they bought it 3 weeks early because of the pressure that the other teams are taking them on, or putting them under. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he gets on with that versus Perez. I know Perez Verstappen as a comparison is difficult anyway, but that'll be interesting for the update. So can't wait for that one as well. There's so much going on. Aston Martin as well. They've got a car full of updates, so hopefully they can make some progress. RB looks good in FP3. In fact, I'll go through FP3 for you very quickly. Then we'll. While I'm doing that, if you let me know in chat where you're watching from, and I'll give you some shout outs in a moment. But Lando Norris was fastest in FP3. 400ths of a second quicker than teammate Oscar Piastri, so it was a McLaren 1-2, so that fastest time was 1:16.098. Remember that for later. Verstappen, third place, 2 tenths, nearly 3 tenths off Lando Norris. George Russell, fourth. Carlos Sainz in fifth place. Daniel Ricciardo, sixth. That was a surprise. Alex Albon, seventh. That was a surprise. Nico Hulkenberg, eighth. They played that as a surprise in commentary, but I would say Nico Hulkenberg top 10 has kind of become the least surprising thing across an F1 weekend. It's his thing at the moment. Yuki Tsunoda, ninth, so RB looking good. 10th place for Lewis Hamilton. He had a spin, by the way, in FP3. Charles Leclerc, 11th. Bottas, 12th. Perez, 13th. A lot being made of that. It is a big gap, but I did notice on the driver tracker, he did catch, I think, Hamilton and some traffic on that lap, so that might not be representative. It also might be. We'll find out in an hour's time, just over. Fernando Alonso, 14th, 15th for Lance Stroll, 16th for Sargeant, 17th for Zhou, 18th for Gasly, 19th for Magnussen, and 20th for Ocon. 1.4 seconds separating the field. And there was one other thing I was going to mention as well there, which I've already forgotten about. That was it. Yeah, we seem to have this, unless it cools down a lot more, we seem to have a situation where we've got McLaren and Red Bull at the front, then a bit of a gap to Mercedes and Ferrari, then a smaller gap to pretty much everybody else. So obviously those temperatures come down, that might bring Mercedes back into play. Don't know which Ferrari is going to turn up this weekend. It's been a bit mixed at the moment. So look, I think Carlos Sainz topped FP1, sorry. So it's been mixed. They've got some tweaks to their floor. Hopefully that'll be an improvement. And looking forward to getting into that soon and seeing what that's going to translate as. But yeah, the time to remember, 16.098 was the fastest of the weekend so far from Lando Norris. So I'm pretty sure it'll be quicker than that when it comes to the Q3 shootout thing later. it's going to be good. Jordan, anyone's happy to know K-Mag won't be in F1 next year? Hey, Jordan, sorry. Yeah, I wouldn't say happy that K-Mag's not being in F1 next year, because I do like him. He's a character. He's a bit more old school in his approach with the media and things like that as well. So I'll miss him in that sense, but probably looking at his performances this year, I think probably is now the time to move on. So I wouldn't say I'm happy that he's going, but I think maybe now feels like the right time. Behrman coming in, Ocon probably going to be replacing him as well. So, yeah, I like Magnussen. I know, but then I'm also in the minority and like Ocon as well. So, I'm weird. Everyone else is like, oh, I hate Ocon. Magnussen's useless. This driver's terrible. I'm like, they're my favourites. What are you doing? Not quite to that point, but yeah, there we go. Hey to Michael as well. Good morning to you. Good afternoon here in the UK. Good morning to you, Michael. Hope you're doing well. Stefan's happy that Magnussen is going. Alvar says afternoon from Sweden. Sweden. I went to Sweden when I was about 8 or 9, and I'd love to go back. I barely remember it, but what I do remember, I seem to enjoy. So I know you didn't ask, Alvar, but I'm telling you anyway. There you go. Birmingham, Alabama for Michael. Stefan's watching from Florence in Italy, 36 degrees. Oh, Stefan, that sounds like hell to me. You say chilling, I say that'd be me done for a week. Anything above 15 is too much for me. I'm a wimp, and I can't help it. Kiev from Ukraine for year. I did see somebody else say something and it's just completely gone. I wanted to find a moment to have a chat about Stockholm. Is lovely. It is a lovely place. But yeah, from all over the place, as always. Pascal is watching from the Hungaroring main stand just across the Sauber garage. Best seat in the house, couldn't have asked for more. What's the weather doing, Pascal? Also, I think pretty much everybody in this chat now very jealous. So you could be our Ted Kravitz for the weekend, Pascal. We'll be coming to you for updates on what's going on. Thank you as well to Mike for your super chat. Really appreciate that, mate. And thank you for your support. You can put your own super chats in, of course, if you want to, but if not, don't worry. We come to chat a lot, or I do, during the qualifying watch-alongs. They're a bit more chill than the race reactions, not really much of a format. It's just waffle, you might have noticed, which is great. Stefan, hey Stefan, good to see you. Is that like 4 streams in a row, Stefan? What's going on? From Melbourne. I hope you're having a good one. Kevin in Toronto and Morocco for M, which is awesome. Thank you very much for your support wherever you are today. But yeah, any questions? Let's do that for the next sort of 10 minutes or so before we get into qualifying. But any questions and I'll answer them. Don't mind what it's about. Pascal says light rain at the moment, so it's eased off a bit from what they were saying earlier. But yeah, anything about F1, driver market, what to expect this weekend, who you think is going to get pole. We'll do some predictions in a bit as well, and we'll go from there. Yeah, that's true, Stefan. Much better for you, the European time slot, isn't it, really? So you get one race a year that's perfect, and that's Australia. So yeah, that's a bit a bit rubbish for you. Mike says Hulk top 10 is normal now, but I say it's still an amazing feat. Yeah, I wasn't. I know you won't say I might, but I'm not playing it down. I still think that's great from him. But when people sort of talk about, I can't believe Hulkenberg's top 10, I sort of think I absolutely can believe Hulkenberg's top 10. That's where he's been for much of this season. He's such a great job. Do you like Nico's shirt on Sky? Says Kevin. I'm sat here in a Jack Jones t-shirt, some unbranded short. Yeah, I'm not a fashionista or anything like that, but it's not for me. Let's put it that way. It's not for me. Nate is waking up early in Seattle, Washington, USA, to watch with you guys. Thank you, Nate. Good to see you. Any chance for Sauber upgrades to be good? I try not to read too much into practice because it's practice and we don't know fuel loads and all of that. But Bottas was pretty good this morning in P12. So that seems like, dare I say, in and around where he probably would have been anyway. 11th in FP2 and FP1 Bottas was in 15th. So they seem to be in and around where they were anyway. But obviously we'll see once things sort of pick up pace and fuel loads come down, etc. later. But I'd like to see Sauber make a step this weekend. There are a few teams, actually. I'd like to see Aston make a step with their updates. I'd like Sauber to do the same. Obviously, want Ferrari to improve too after it's been a difficult few weeks for them. So, yeah, that's going to be... I'll keep an eye on Sauber. I think Pascal will definitely keep an eye on them, so we'll do that one. Have you seen the F1 meme page of both Hulkenberg, Magnussen and Sauber in 2025? Would be so funny to happen. Also funny that Magnussen found it and liked it. I haven't, but Hulkenberg and Magnussen at Audi could be quite a giggle. Yeah, I'd quite enjoy that. the sudden, just literally swapping to another team would be cool. But somebody said to me yesterday, I think it was yesterday, Perez to Audi. Not as any kind of that's not come from anybody within F1 or any journalist or anything. Just somebody that I know said, "What about Perez to Audi?" And I thought that kind of sounds mad in a way, but actually not crazy. He brings a bit of money with him. He's massive experienced. He might be a good place for him to go and get a real reset for himself. There'd be some spotlight on him because it's a new team, effectively, with Audi coming in, but a bit less of a spotlight on him next year. And I thought, you know what, actually, that was not a terrible idea, but I think Perez, I get the feeling if Perez were dropped from Red Bull, that would be it for Perez. Not necessarily because he won't have options, but I think when you go from a car like that, do you really want to then hop in a Sauber for next year, for example? I'm not convinced. So, but yeah, just throw out there, just for a laugh, Kaori, 15 minutes, well, it's about 50 minutes to start, so 10 minutes till the music kicks in, everyone's favourite music. But yeah, I just want to say something else as well. I don't know if Clansom's here. I think it's Clansom. If you're not, don't worry. I'm sure I'll catch you later. And I'm not being an a-hole with it. I just to be clear. But Clansom keeps popping up in my comments after these streams saying, "Oh, you're starting to sound a bit like Matt Gallagher with your Ferrari fanage." And I just want to say, no shade or anything like that. And just to give you an idea as to my age, I've been watching F1 a fair bit longer than Matt Gallagher, and I would argue I've been a Ferrari fan much longer than that. So I'm not saying he's starting to sound like me, but it's not. I've been having these strops on a Saturday about Ferrari and Sunday for about 20 odd plus, no, more than that, 24, 25, 27, 28 years. So it's not a new thing for me, this. And I think, isn't Matt Gallagher a Charles Leclerc fan rather than a Ferrari fan? Unless that's changed. But yeah, so no shade at Clansom or to Matt, but just to make the point, it's not a copying thing if that's what the accusation is from people. It is definitely just, I've been a Ferrari fan for a long time and it's freaking painful at the moment. There you go. I've heard he's getting a job at Haas. It says M. It's like an ambassadorial role almost, isn't it? For K-Mag at Haas. Are we all, ask you in chat, I'll throw a question at you. Are we all pretty sure it's Ocon there next year alongside Behrman? I've not seen anything that suggests. I know there was the link to Williams, but I think that was more about the rest of this season rather than next year. But I think Ocon looks set to be at Haas, doesn't he? I think we're pretty sure on that one. I didn't start the photos today, so I'll skip along a little bit. But yeah, I think it looks as though it's going to be Ocon, Behrman at Haas. I've been trying to work out the grid all week, actually, and what's going to happen. I think, kind of looking through the field, Red Bull, I think it's Verstappen, and I still think Perez will probably stay if he can pick it up in the next few races. But, he said today or this weekend that everything's open, so we'll see. Ferrari, we know, are Hamilton and Leclerc. We know McLaren are Piastri and Norris. Who's the other one? Norris. Mercedes, that's an interesting one. I'll come back to that. Aston Martin, we know, is tied down. Haas, I think, is going to be Ocon again. Like I say, Alpine, I suspect, is going to be Gasly and Doohan, probably. And then I don't know. I can't work out Williams. They change every week. I can't work out Sauber. Williams Bottas seems to be, or Bottas to Williams seems to be the one at the moment. Sauber, I have no idea who's going to partner Nico Hulkenberg. I suspect whoever's left after everybody falls into place will be what Sauber looks like next year. RB, I've made my mind up on what I want to happen anyway at Red Bull. Nothing against Perez. I keep saying it. I defend him a lot, but if it was my call right now and Perez doesn't improve in the next two races, I would put Yuki Tsunoda in that Red Bull for next year, and I would put Hadjar and Lawson in the RB because that's supposed to be a junior team, so let's make it a junior team and stop this bottleneck that they've created, which is what's causing them these problems. So that's what I would do, but I know many will disagree with that. Mercedes, I would still put Sainz there and maybe either put Antonelli in Williams or arguably give him another year in F2. He's unlikely to win the title this year. It's a bit of an unpredictable season in F2, so maybe he will win the title, but with a good run, but it doesn't look like it at the moment. So give him another year in F2 to mature and then look at maybe a Williams in the future. But that's my stance on that. But I don't know about Sauber. I'm really struggling to work out how it's gonna work out. Stefan says it makes a lot of sense with Ocon going there. Kevin says, dear Haas, order a lot more parts for next year. Ocon incoming. Annette says, bleh, Ocon. I don't think Annette's a fan there of that lineup. Ben will get the experience, Ocon's incredible teamwork. See, I always feel the need to defend Ocon because I said this, I think, a couple of weeks ago now. Or a few weeks ago, actually, probably. Time's flying this year. It's crazy. But there was some stuff doing around on social media a few weeks ago of this video of 10 times Ocon's collided with teammates. And I watched the video and it's like 8 times were either his teammates' faults or 50-50, and 2 were Ocon's fault. And it's like this narrative sometimes. I'm not saying that he's been a brilliant teammate, don't get me wrong, but sometimes this narrative that he's always the one at fault is just... in the media, a bit of lazy journalism, I think, rather than actually going back and analysing things properly. Because he's of course he's been involved in collisions with teammates. Some of the moves he made with Fernando Alonso as his teammate were questionable, but also, you know, the Perez fight that everyone keeps bringing up. No one's telling me Perez came out of that looking like an angel. So I will defend Ocon to a point, but I'll also concede he's also a bit haphazard at times. Yeah. But there's lots of these Ocon compilations, as Kevin's saying, on YouTube, and some of them you look at and you go, well, that's a 50-50, or that's actually on Perez, or yeah, that is on Ocon, sort of thing. So that's my feeling anyway. Free says, try being a Williams fan, deep sigh. Yeah. I still think Williams are in a good place long term. You've got a great driver there in Alex Albon. Oh, great's maybe pushing it, but very good driver with a lot of potential still, who's doing a great job at the team. You've got James Vowles, who's getting everything in order. You got Mercedes power, which apparently, according to reports and rumours, is looking pretty good for 2026. So that's in place for Williams. It's about that second driver. And this is why I put the question mark against Antonelli to Williams, because I kind of feel like Williams need to stop being not the Mercedes B team as such, but they were sort of heading that way once upon a time, weren't they? It felt like it. But I think, you know, closer ties to Mercedes are fine, but I think they need to stop being that stepping stone for drivers, and they need to find a couple of drivers like Albon and somebody else who could be with them long term. That's why I really look forward to the idea of Sainz there. I thought that was a good lineup for the next sort of 5 or 6 seasons, even probably longer maybe. I don't know, but that's what they need to be. They don't need to be that stepping stone. I think they're doing all right. I think they're doing all right. Not sure Yuki has the temperament to get along with Max, says Hillbilly Reefer. He has his moments on the radio, but I've not seen anything, you know, on TV or heard any kind of analysis from anyone that suggests that behind the scenes he's a nightmare or anything. So maybe if, you know, side by side on track, if they're fighting for wins, maybe that does become an issue. But whoever you put in alongside Max Verstappen in that second car is unlikely in most cases to be challenging Max every week for wins. So actually what Red Bull need is someone who is going to be delivering those second and third places, which Perez isn't at the moment. And he doesn't need to be that close to Max, really. A couple of tenths. So, I don't know. I don't want to just keep doing driver market talk at the start of these. That's kind of where we're kind of waiting now at the summer break, aren't we? A few teams saying now that we'll know something soon. But it's all up in the air. It's so weird this year. I can't get it. It's more of a driver market than we had last year, but it's really weird this year because everything seems to be kicking off really early, and then it kind of slowed down, then picks up pace, and it's slowed down again, and this driver's definitely going there, then a week later they're not, and it's sort of, I like a bit of speculation, but I've also kind of taken a step back in a way and sort of gone, let's just see what happens, but I'm not sure. Where will Perez finish in qualifying, says Adam. Well, you keep saying 8th whenever we have this conversation, so I assume we're going to go with 8th again. But we'll do some predictions then. We are 7 minutes out from the start of the session, a couple of minutes from the start of the broadcast on Sky and that, so I'll pop the TV on in a minute and get multi-viewer set up. But yeah, what are you saying for? I mean, the poll you've gone with pretty fairly emphatically to McLaren here. So which team will take pole position in Hungary? Who are you going for? 48% said McLaren, 27% said Red Bull, 14% Mercedes, 9% Ferrari. So that's a lot of people seem to be leaning towards McLaren there. But what do we think? Team or driver on pole? Let me know in the chat. You can pick a team, you can pick a driver, you can pick a top 3 if you want, and I'll read them out. My prediction for pole on Thursday was Norris. I've seen nothing this weekend to suggest that I'm way off that. So I'm going to go with Lando Norris for pole position, Max Verstappen second, and Oscar Piastri in third. And then tomorrow's race, depending on how things go this afternoon, I'll probably stick with a Verstappen win because the race pace of The Red Bull looks pretty good. It's still close with McLaren, but McLaren seem to have the edge on 1 lap pace. Red Bull just have the edge on race pace. So it could be quite a fascinating weekend, actually. Hey AJ, yeah, I'm really well, thank you. Hope you are too, mate. I've had a busy week with work and getting things done for the channel. Waiting for things to move behind the scenes that I'm hoping are going to move behind the scenes, but things have gone quiet, so maybe not. We'll see. Yeah, looking forward to talking more about that. Whatever happens in the coming weeks, I'll be telling you all about what's happened anyway. So we'll get into it maybe in the summer break. But yeah, I've got a question for you later as well in the stream, everybody. But we'll do that after qualifying. For those that are interested. So your predictions then. Diamond says P8 or thereabouts for Perez. He looked all right yesterday and then sort of struggled today. Like I said, had a bit of traffic. But as I was going to say, actually, as Emma said in chat, Perez sucks in Hungary at the best of times. He's not got the best qualifying record at Hungary, so it might be a problem for him. So I'm gonna say ninth. I'll just go one lower and go ninth this week with someone like a Hulkenberg springing a surprise. But I think he'll make Q3, he says, completely confidently. Alvar says Norris, Max, Hamilton. Reese has gone with Oscar, Hamilton, Norris. Wakasan says Piastri, P1. Fudder's gone with Sainz for pole position. That'd be great. Annette says Piastri. AJ's gone with Lando, Oscar, and Max. Wow, neither everybody in the top 10. That's a bold prediction. Jordan says Norris, Max, Carlos. Oscar, Hamilton, Norris, George, Max for M. Perez on fire this week, and so maybe Q2, says Lee. I can hear the sarcasm in that. I love it. Perez 16th for Annette. Oh, bloody hell, Annette. You're not confident today, are you? I want to sell Bottas mullet wigs at races, says Kevin. Pascal says Sauber Q2. Yeah, AJ says, I'm all good, thank you, Sean. Just turned 25 yesterday. Happy birthday for yesterday. Hope you had a good one. Never felt better and happier in my life, and just glad to catch up live. Love you all and the community that you have built. Thank you very much, AJ. That's great. And you know, 25, my dad always said to me, side note, here we go, 25 is the age he always looked forward to, and I never understood that until I hit 25 and I went, I get it. There's something about it. It's a nice age. So, yeah, I get that feeling good. So I'm glad you're feeling good. I hope you had a great birthday yesterday as well. So happy birthdays in chat for AJ. Get those in there. And yes, 42 likes, 200 of you here. Please do drop a like on the stream. Lots coming up this year. I know we're moving towards the summer break, but we've still got loads of races to come. And subscribe if you're new as well. That'd be hugely appreciated. Let's see if we can keep those subs coming in. We've seen some growth on the channel. It helps when you've got a few races in a month. So yeah, let's get some subs in as well. That'd be great. As always, we'll get to the watch on screen. I'll do all the other stuff, but you know the lingo by now. I'm going to go sort of keep an eye on your chats and try and answer some of your questions and your points as I try to boot up Multiviewer and get it all set up. If you're new to the channel, Sean and multitasking is not great. I also actually, random headline I spotted earlier, which I haven't read, so I can't really go into it too much because I don't want to just assume things. But I was reading the headline and it was something about we're going to get aircon, a sort of aircon fitted to F1 cars. Which I thought was really bloody interesting. I thought, okay, I assume this in response to Qatar last year. So some talk about possible aircon. I might read it later in the stream, see if we can go into a bit more detail, or maybe next week I'll have a read in the week. We'll talk about it next week. Next watch along for Belgium. Spa, of course, is the next race. So maybe do that then. But I need to get everything turned on now. So I'm going to be trying to multitask, which never goes well. Just waiting for this all to catch up, and then we can go over to the watch along screen. I'm so bad at multitasking. It's not a man thing. It's just Sean's useless. That's all it is. A lot of people say, "Oh, men aren't very good at multitasking." It's like, no, I'm just really crap at it. Just generally, it's not not anything to do with who I am. But yeah, let's try and get everything set up before we get over there this time, rather than. I will keep the penalty tracker, by the way, open today, and the track limit violations, because track limit's probably going to be an issue, maybe over at turn 10ish, something around there. So let's go over there, see how close I am to actually put. Oh, come on, that's not bad. That's not a bad effort, Sean. Yes, we'll get the time up in just a moment. Obviously, no on-track footage in this stream for what I think are obvious copyright reasons. Apparently, some people don't agree, but I think they are pretty obvious. It's not my footage, so I can't just go using it. Let's just refresh this. So we've got the timing up as well. There we go. Lifetime provided by the awesome folks over at Multiviewer for F1. Links in the description. It's not sponsored, but I'll always give them a shout out because it's just absolutely changed the way that I watch my F1 now. Love lots and lots of data. If you love your data as well, want to customize your feeds, heading over to F1 Multiviewer for F1. You do need an F1 TV subscription, by the way, but if you're in the UK, F1 TV. Is it Access? That works as well. That works absolutely fine as well. That's the one I use. So I'll also get myself into my watching TV position as well. Pascal says rain has eased up a bit now. So that's... it looks... I think that was a Haas going out the garage on dries. So we are green, apparently. I was a little bit slower today with this one. There we go. We are ready to go. If you weren't here last week or at other watch-alongs, I will come to you throughout in chat. We'll just have a nice conversation. Just let me get this set up for a second. I like to be able to watch it. Which sounds obvious, but yeah, slick conditions. Everyone going out on the soft tyre by the look of it. We've got Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Bottas show, Gasly, Tsunoda and Ricciardo out on track. Albon heading out as well. Verstappen just leaving the garage now. So, hey Max, good to see you, mate. Hope you had a good one. Had a good week. Alvos's multi-view is great. It is. It's so good. Again, it's not, the video's not sponsored, the stream's not sponsored, but they are so good. And I find it a bit more reliable actually than the, I should have said that, knock on wood quick. A bit more reliable than the official F1 timer, even though I'm sure it all uses the same stuff behind the scenes. But yeah, it's, yeah. I tend to be 10 seconds ahead of F1 TV for some reason, even though the stream's 10 seconds delayed. So I've got everything synced up to the TV. So as a driver goes across the line, as I'm watching it, I'm calling it, and then the updates on the timing rather than there being a delay. But I think that does cause problems. So apologies there, but it's the best way to do it. Yeah, just act surprised. Just act surprised when you get there. It's the best way to do it. Yeah, good week, Max. Just busy as always. I didn't put my headphones on ever. I've got to listen to Crofty. I can't not listen to Crofty. He's got so many great insights. Says so many wonderful things. I think I've only heard the phrase Monaco without the barriers about 6 times this weekend. And one of those was me in the preview. So I'm actually quite impressed, to be fair. So apparently the rain has only just stopped. So it does look a little bit greasy out there, but it's quite warm, isn't it? I mean, track temperature is 29.7 degrees at the moment. Air temperature 24.3. So it's warm enough to dry pretty quickly. So I don't think we're going to see anything there. So that's awesome. I'll leave Crofty alone. I promise, Kaori. I appreciate what Crofty does. I couldn't do it. I mean, I say I'm sat here doing this now and I'm terrible at it. So, but I there's a lot going on. I've seen the commentary boxes. You have to remember as well, Stuart made the point the other week, you got to remember as well, he's got people in his ear all the time as well, talking, telling him what to do and where to go. And, so he does a good job, I'm sure. But he also does drive me mad sometimes when he starts screaming, and here goes Perez. And it's like a Haas or something, On the subject of Haas, segue, Hulkenberg coming across the line now is going to get a lap time on the board and does a 1:20.585 to top the timesheets. First driver to get one. Magnussen's next. He goes fastest on a 19.3, 1.2 seconds quicker than Hulkenberg. So maybe some traffic or a mistake there from Hulkenberg, because I'm pretty sure, with all due respect, Magnussen isn't 1.2 seconds quicker than Hulkenberg. Bottas slots into second place. Zhou into third place, 0.6, nearly 0.7 off Magnussen. Up into fifth goes Piastri, but he's just starting his lap. Gasly up into third place. So yeah, pretty big gaps there actually. So I want to see Hulkenberg's lap again, or part of it. Looks like it was probably some sort of mistake there, maybe. James Allen was great. I don't know who he works for now. He was working for somebody I was reading the other day. I can't remember. Possibly Motorsport Magazine, possibly. But I don't know what happened. I think Crofty used to work on the BBC with everybody, didn't he? And possibly ITV as well. And then I think he's just been moved over with Sky, because he used to do like the Friday commentary. Is it Autosport? He does a podcast. There you go. But yeah. I mean, Kevin says Crofty, Murray Walker without the charm, but I think Murray Walker would have got slaughtered on social media if he was commentating today. Some of the things he got wrong. Whenever I think of Murray Walker getting things wrong, I always go back to that Silverstone one where he sort of 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 laps, 5 lights. I don't know why that crops up. Norris purple in the middle sector. Sargeant is currently fastest. Just fainted. 17.7 seconds. 117.7. Half a second, quicker than Alonso. So I don't know what Sargeant's doing up there. Over the line goes Piastri's not there now. Piastri a couple of tenths quicker, and Norris only seconds. So Piastri fastest, a couple of tenths quicker, 2.5 tenths quicker than Norris. But Logan Sargeant's time there, very early days, of course. But that time holds up well for Logie Sarge. Good stuff. So are these cooler temperatures playing into other teams' hands? Because Sainz has gone fastest on a 1:17.2, 2.5 tenths quicker than Piastri. Hamilton purple in the first sector. This is interesting, isn't it? Verstappen only 5th on a 1:17.7. He is tucked up behind Zhou, to be fair to Verstappen. I don't know if there's any traffic issues there. Perez in 6th place on a 1:17.8. Hamilton purple at the moment as he comes through the penultimate corner. That Williams should hop right out the way. It does indeed. Into the final corner for Lewis Hamilton. Let's see what he can do through here. This looks like it's going to be the quickest so far. 17.2 to beat. It is a 1:17 flat. Over the line comes Sargeant, I think, to start another lap. So, yeah, that time from Logan Sargeant, to be fair, holding up pretty nicely there. Only 7 tenths off Lewis Hamilton, who's currently fastest. So, I think we've got some traffic issues out there for some. And we have a yellow flag it's Logan's. Oh, what have I done? Logan Sargeant at turn 1, yellow flag. What's he done? Have we jinxed him with all that excitement? Is he okay? Possibly just gone straight on, according to Crofty on comms. Very good. If he's going purple, he should really breathe. I agree. Come on, Lewis. Health and safety. Yeah, so I wonder what... I see we've just gone straight on at turn 1. Just try to listen to it, because apparently it looks... The official timing, or the multi-viewer timing, says rain, yes. So I think there is possibly some sprinkling of rain out there. Pascal will tell us, I'm sure. But at the moment, Russell only goes 11th on a 1:18.4. So maybe it's a bit greasy out there. Maybe not traffic, but if it chucks it down now, we are going to have a very mixed up grid. Because at the moment, Leclerc, Ricciardo, Hulkenberg, Gasly and Zhou are in the bottom 5. Perhaps Zhou not a surprise. Maybe even Gasly not a surprise there. But... yeah, this is interesting. If the rain is going to come again, I don't know what the weather's doing. Pascal will tell us. It's a big double lock-up into turn 1 for Logan Sargeant, and he did hit the wall. So we're going to watch on board now. Coming down to turn 1, he was P5. He's still P5. It is raining. There is spots of rain on the camera lens. Double front lock-up into turn 1, and then it is just going to be clunk into the barrier. So definitely a new front wing. I don't think he hit it hard enough to damage the left front, so he might be okay there. But yeah, should we say mixed day for Logan Sargeant so far? AJ says, Sean, I've been watching your streams since 2021. Thank you for everything you've done from one F1 fan to another. Really appreciate it. So thank you, AJ. Appreciate that. 2021. Oh, what a year to start watching. That was a... does anyone remember 2021, or it went quite quiet after us, didn't it? Never really mentioned it. So, yeah, this season's really picking up, by the way. Very excited for this. It looked like it was going to be Red Bull domination, which again is fine. As Verstappen goes third fastest on a 1:17.2. But this last few races, as the fields converged, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. For some reason we have a track limits violation for Sargeant. He did go straight on at turn 1, but I don't think he's gained any time there, so no worries. I'm sure he lost time. What's Perez going to do through the final corner? He's only 8th at the moment, and he stays 8th. So he's struggling for pace here. Gasly quick enough to get through at the moment, but we've got quick to the 9-minute mark. I think in they come for another set of softs, I'm sure. So at the moment, we've got Hamilton fastest, a 10th.5 quicker than Sainz, who's half a 10th quicker than Verstappen in 3rd. Piastri 4th, Alonso up to 5th. Norris in 6th. Sargeant 7th. Perez 8th. Leclerc 9th. And Albon in 10th place. Gasly moves up to 11th. So I'm wondering, is this a case of the track getting a bit damp, washing a little bit of the rubber away, and the track just sort of coming back to the drivers? Is this going to be one of those sessions where it's last across the line has got the best chance? KO is down for me, so I can't watch it in Australia. Is that Jim? Is that to do with the Microsoft crowd strike thing, which was causing chaos yesterday and again today. That could be, yeah. Sorry to hear that. I'll try and keep you updated as best I can, Jim. I'll try my best. I'm not a commentator. I'm just a fan like us, everybody else here, but I'll do what I can. But yeah, Red Bull 3rd and Perez 8th at the moment. Red Bull 3rd, Verstappen 3rd and Perez 8th. Okay, that's interesting. Not possible, maybe not crowd strikes. I wonder what's happening there with KO. George Russell a little bit wide there through. I always get those corners mixed up. I think turn 8 or that would be turn 8, wouldn't it? Must be turn 8. Julian's just asking if KO is down. Yeah, we've got a couple of people in chat, Julian, who are saying that KO's down for them as well. So it looks like an Australia-wide thing, which is frustrating. Of all the sessions for that to happen, it's not so bad for practice 1 or something. But by the way, if you hear a dog barking, it's not actually my dog. We've got my parents' dog for the weekend. And his name is Barkley. And I can tell you now, it is Barkley by name and Barkley by nature. 4:45 this morning, he woke me up because somebody dared to walk past the window. So if you hear a dog barking, that's who it is. But he's keeping my dog Baxter happy, and they're having a lot of fun, so that's good. Over the line goes Norris. Not that anybody asked, but I thought I'd let you know. What's Leclerc? There is definitely rain out there. There's rain on the camera lens. Leclerc only 8th, but does improve. Logan Sargeant is still 7th here, My bold pick for the weekend was for... I've got another yellow flag. Perez is off at turn 8. Well, it's a red flag. Oh, Sergio, for God's sake. Oh, that's a picture that we're going to see a lot, I think, over the coming weeks. Sergio Perez is in the wall at turn 8. He has crashed big time. Oh, dear. He says he's okay. He's getting out of the car. But that is, like I say, I think that's a photo we're going to see a lot in the coming weeks. What's happened? So he's come through 5, all right through there, obviously, because he crashed 8, so why wouldn't he be all right through there? Through the chicane at 6 and 7, wide, but not too wide. He's just turned in and lost it. Oh, that's a hefty whack as well. That's so it is the weather that's playing a part here. It's damp on parts of the track, and they've got to push hard. But obviously, you're pushing hard, catch a white line or anything like that, you're in trouble. But Sergio Perez out of qualifying, he is out of qualifying. Whatever happens from here, and he's only P9th, and he might be safe. But even if he is safe, he's still going to be 15th tomorrow, assuming no penalties. But he hit that side on. I want another replay of that. I don't know if his rear end went in first side on, if you know what I mean, because that might be gearbox, could be changes needed there. But Sergio Perez in the wall again. Another red flag. Second weekend in a row, isn't it? He's the same at Silverstone at, was it? It was Cops, wasn't it? Yeah. So there we go. That's it. So Martin Brundle just saying, I was listening to commentary there. Martin Brundle just saying that he's not gone in crazy speed. He's not taken the wrong line. He's gone on the right line, and the car's just stepped out on him. So he's not done it. He's not done anything wrong as such. Perhaps just unlucky. Sometimes it happens. Again, I'm listening to Martin Brundle in my ear. He's just saying, no, it's the way it's going for him at the moment. It's just his luck, isn't it? At the moment, it never rains, but it pours, and that's kind of where it is for Sergio Perez. But he's got it's tough to overtake here as well. Very tough to overtake outside of the DRS zones. Turn 1, turn 2, and if you're F1, if you're in an F2 car, then you can have a go 3 wide. It's a turn 3 if you like, but it's a tough place to overtake. So he's got his work cut out tomorrow. So. Just watching him again. Yeah, he's not. To be fair, he's not done anything crazy. He does his rear first as he goes side on. So that might be gearbox, maybe. We'll see. They'll let us know, I'm sure. But although the gearbox situation's changed, hasn't it, this year or in recent years? It's no longer. It's no longer so many for the season, or you get so many for the season, but you don't have to run it for 6 races. It's actually, you know, it's actually really raining out there. Looking at that shot there, but yeah, it's not like before you had so many for the season, but you can only use one every so many races. Whereas now you can use from the same pool, like the engine part. So if he needs to change his gearbox, he might be okay. But it depends what else they need to do. But it is raining heavy enough there to make that track slippery. So maybe that's just caught him out today. But yeah. If you are just tuning in, Sergio Perez is out of qualifying again. He is P9 on the timing screens, but even if he gets through, that is still going to be 15th place at best, assuming no penalties for any repairs. But the rain is coming down in Hungary now, so I think this is going to get rid of... In fact, that could actually be, sorry to be boring, put a dampener on it immediately. Dampener, but I don't see much improving on those times. So this could be what we've got here. Hamilton, fastest, Sainz, Verstappen, Piastri, Alonso, Norris, Sargeant, Leclerc, Perez, Ocon, Albon, Gasly, Tsunoda, Russell, Bottas all through, Ricciardo, Stroll, Magnussen, Zhou, Hulkenberg out as it stands. But again, it is quite warm, so it could dry out quite quickly with nearly 7 minutes to go. Let's say 6 minutes. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it is only one, of course. It only Q1. We've got Q2 and Q3 to come. Yeah, I don't know what to say. What are we thinking then in chat? Perez, you've watched the onboards. It's really took it down actually there. Looking at that shot again, but yeah, the clock stops. Yeah, the clock does stop, Jim. But if you're watching, you've watched the onboards. Martin Brundle says doesn't think he's done anything wrong there, just been caught out. I've watched the replays. I tend to agree. He's not gone in at crazy speed. He's not taken the wrong line. He's not sideways going in, is he? I think he's just lost it maybe on a damp patch or just bad luck striking. I don't think he's done anything wrong there, but you know, he can't even afford for things that he's not done wrong to go wrong, if that makes sense. He's in a mess here, and again, I'll always make the point. What could end up saving him is a lack of options. I don't. You know, I'm a Liam Lawson fan. You know, I have bias towards him, but I do not want him in that Red Bull straight away. I want him to do it a few seasons in the RB first. It's almost career suicide to hop in alongside Max Verstappen with him on his current form, isn't it? So you know, we saw with Gasly, we saw with Albon, both rushed through too quickly. I think Lawson needs some time at RB before he gets into that car, so we'll see. Lee says I was AFK for 5 minutes and Perez out. It's all Lee's fault. There you go. Yes, he is out again. Oh dear. Deary me. We will see. We'll see what happens in the coming days. But like I say, that picture of the car being towed away there, that is going to be seen a lot in the coming weeks. We have got 6 minutes 45 left. We are under red flag, so we'll see what happens. How long this delay is going to be. The barrier doesn't look. I think it's one of those looks worse than it is. It's the advertising hoardings that have come off, which make it look like it's been badly damaged. But it is a tyre barrier, so it should be okay. But I think that car's going to need some. I mean, I was going to say, I think it needs some substantial repairs. I mean, duh, you can't stick that on the grid tomorrow. But you know what I mean with gearbox and some of the internals there. I like Max Verstappen's crash helmet this weekend, by the way. Yeah. Anthony Davis is going to do some Skypad now. See if he does do the Perez one, so I'll try and keep an eye out for that one as well. Cooper says, what is happening? In general, or for Perez specifically? Well, in general, we're under red flag at the moment. Hamilton fastest. Perez crashing and causing a red flag at turn 8. And that is end of his session from here. Yes, Alvar. I was just going to say that because Ant Davis is just going through it on the Skypad now. I was going to point that out, so good point. Russell came into turn 8 just before, and it looks like it's a bit damp because he sort of comes into the corner and he almost loses it. And they're just going through the analysis now. I really wish I could show you these, but I can't for copyright reasons. But he almost loses it, and that's why he got the track limits violation. He went wide. And then Perez has kind of done the same thing, but he's actually, again, because of the way it seems to be going for him at the moment, let's have a watch. I'm going to slow it down. Do you know, in terms of the point at which he's lost it, it's almost identical. Only he's not caught it, and Russell did. And around he goes, and it is. Let's keep it slow. Oof, yeah. It's a hefty whack, but... Checo. It happens. It's a greasy track. Again, if you are just tuning in, it is raining at the moment, but it's one of those awkward ones. It's... dry enough for dries. It's only just dry enough for dries, but it's nowhere near wet enough for inters. But of course, no cars circulating right now, so we'll see what happens. Byron, thank you very much for your super chat. Says thanks for this. No problem at all. That's your first super chat as well, so I can give you a love heart. Thank you very much for your support there. You can put your own super chats in if you'd like. Feel free, but as you've probably heard, I do come to everyone in chat as much as I can. Please do leave a like as well. We're not far from 100 likes, nearly 800 of you here. Let's get that up quite a bit. Likes, they're free. They help the channel in the algorithm. And if you could subscribe as well, I've had a few in this stream already. That would be fantastic. So thank you to Call Me Secret, Frosty Acrobat. That's a cracking name. Barish Arif. AI Absolutely Indecisive Musician, also a great name. Thank you for subbing, you guys, appreciate that. So please do sub as well. I'm live tomorrow after the race, about 5 p.m. UK time, with Stuart to wrap up the race and just give a bit of reaction to that one. And of course, Mexican fan in the crowd there, pretending to cry. Very good. And of course, we'll be live with a preview next Thursday as well for Belgium, and live again for the qualifying watch along for Spa, and again for the race reaction next Sunday. So lots to come. And thank you for your support. That's massively appreciated. Jim, thank you for your super chat. Says thanks for this. Go Williams. How you feel about Logan Sargeant, Jim? Up there is 7th place at the moment. I know he locked up, but that's still pretty impressive stuff up there. Hopefully, if the rain comes, he can stay there. And he's into. Actually, if he stays there, I know because it's only the Q1, isn't it? No, he still needs to beat Albon in the next one, but he's got a shot here. Thank you to, is it Fizril as well, for your super chat? Appreciate that. Says a legend. Thank you very much. Appreciate your support. But we look like we're about to get going. 16:22 local time, which is about a minute from now. We're going to go green. Both Williams in Q3. That would be ace. That would be great, wouldn't it? I'd love to see Williams have a great weekend. I don't know what. I said Norris at the start, but I don't know how to call this for pole. I know we've got a long way to go yet, but I do not know how to call this for pole. This is going to be. They're just checking Logan Sargeant's car, but this is going to be close. And I can't, even what are the gaps in? If the track's dry enough to improve lap times, what do we need? So Ricciardo needs a couple of hundredths. Let's say just over a tenth for Stroll, maybe. Magnussen needs a couple of tenths. Zhou needs some time as well. Hulkenberg's right at the bottom. 2.1 seconds off the pace, so he needs quite a chunk of time as well. So that's going to be really, really bad. But if the rain keeps coming, then obviously times aren't going to improve, are they? Which is concerning. I hope Hulkenberg, because I did say earlier that he's always top 10, didn't I? And I've completely jinxed the guy. But I think we're about to go green. We should be. There we go. We are green. It's go again. First one's out of the Saubers, so we'll see. They're on the slicks. Softest tyres. Alfie Alf says, well, Logan has out-qualified Checo again. Ooh, you lot love that stat, don't you? You really, really do. It's a good stat. It's not if you're Perez, it's not a good stat, but it is a good stat. Yeah. Leclerc down in 8th place at the moment. For anybody wondering, who's on Ferrari watch with me. Sainz P2, so not a million miles away off P1 at the moment. But yeah, cars going out. Zhou, Bottas, Russell. We'll see if the track is going to be any. I'll keep it on set times when they get round to start the lap. But yeah, it's close enough back there for Ricciardo, for example, to have a go to try and find a couple of hundreds if he can. Yeah, it is raining, but not. I love these kind of conditions where it's just we're not quite sure what tyre you need to be on. I mean, well, we need to be on the dries, but you know what I mean? It's still a greasy track, and it's testing the drivers. I love that. It's what I want to see. I want the drivers to be tested. Portable Sense says either Sainz or Alonso Mercedes or Antonelli. It's interesting you say Alonso, actually, because I was thinking the other day, actually it was Monday randomly, that he's been quite flat lately, hasn't he? And I just wonder, contract's a contract, that's great. A contract will iron out the details, what drivers can get out of them. I do wonder if Mercedes came knocking if he did to go there for a year, given where Aston are at the moment. But that said, he's 5th place at the moment, so we'll see. No, it wasn't his first lap. I think he'd done a couple of laps, Checo. Checo had done 6 overall, so he'd at least done 1, possibly 2 hot laps, so it wasn't his first lap. Portable Sense says Max and Sainz's parents have beef. Yeah, but I know if you were here last time, you'll have already said this, but I'll make the point again. If the reason they're not putting Verstappen and Sainz together is because of their parents, and their parents need to be told to grow up and keep their nose out because it's about their sons and not them, is my take on that. If they can't get on, then tough. It's about the drivers. But obviously, it's not always as simple as that, because tension between the dads can cause tension between the drivers, the sons and the drivers. And so I know it's not simple, but that's kind of how I view it. But we're not improving here. Russell 1.1 seconds down. I think... got 4 minutes left. What's interesting here, I mean, it's all interesting, it's F1, but what's interesting here, Russell's saying it's still very damp. What's interesting here is that cars aren't out there, so they're not drying the track. But also, if the track does suddenly start to dry out, and we've only got 5 or 6 cars out there, it could give us some surprises here. So, yeah, Russell's saying it's still quite damp, 5.6 down. I think he's backed off, to be fair. I don't think this is anywhere near a hot lap. In fact, it certainly is not, because if that is how fast the Mercedes goes, they're in a mess. Here comes Albon, says Jim. What's he going to do? Albon, first sector. See what he does. He's just coming through turn 3 now. Is Alex Albon on the way to complete the first sector? Should be cutting the beam about now. Does a 28.8. No, we're still a way off at the moment. Laura McKee says there is rain going up and down. I assume it means the amount, because if the rain's going up and down, we've got some serious problems. We need to start panicking. I know what he means. It's heavy and then light, then heavy, then light. But what's Russell going to do? Does he improve? No, he doesn't. 6/10 down in the first sector. Overall, he is 1.3 down. So actually, if he can complete the lap, that will be an improvement. But he's got to complete the lap at that pace. And it's so greasy, this middle sector, where Perez lost it, of course, at turn 8. See what he does through here. George Russell flicks it into turn 8. Leaving a bit of time on the table there, or it appeared to be anyway. Yeah. So Zhou Guan Yu has gone personal best in the middle sector, so maybe, and so's Russell. So here we go. The track is starting to pick up some pace now. We are getting some green sector time, so now is the time to be out there, and a lot of cars now are starting to lead the pits. We've got to the 2-minute mark, the 2-minute warning, which will flash up now on the... Every time it does it. On the TV, I think we've got a red flag, but it's not. Purple final sector for Russell, moves up into 10th place. So that's a purple final sector. So we have... So final sector and middle sector are definitely ramping up there. First sector still seems a little bit slippery. Looking at the sector times, we're on board with Lance Stroll at the minute through turn 8 and 9. Crab says Antonelli is too green. It's just so young, isn't he? And it feels like so unnecessary to rush him through when he could have another season in F2 to really hone his skills, if you like. That's how I view it. But he's a talent. He's got potential, but I don't know. Sometimes it works out rushing young drivers through. Sometimes it doesn't. And I hope that if they do rush him through, Antonelli's one that works out. But yeah. Right, here goes Lance Stroll then. One final flying lap. Should Hamilton do another lap, says Mustafi. I think Hamilton's okay. I don't think the track is going to dry up enough. I may be very wrong. Someone's lots of into turn 1, I think. Possibly Leclerc. But yeah, no, it's... I'm going to wait and see what they do with this first sector. Sainz, 28.5. Not improving. Leclerc, 28.3. Not improving. Stroll, what's he going to do? 28.3 does improve. So there is improvement in that first sector, but his time's not exactly spectacular. Ricardo, right here, yes, we are improving the first. I don't think Hamilton's ready threat from there. He's sat in the garage anyway, isn't he? Or have I got my drivers mixed up? Now Hamilton's out there. Russell's in the garage. We've got Russell, Perez, obviously, Ocon and Gasly not out on track at the moment. So Verstappen, purple, middle sector. So that's that middle sector and final sector. Definitely now improving. Wow, Stroll 6/10 quicker. Verstappen goes second. Matches Hamilton's time exactly. 1:17.087 for Max Verstappen. So, yeah, people are going to pick up the pace here. The track has improved. Ricciardo's 8/10 up on Bottas, a time he needs to get out of Q1. The checkered flag is out, obviously. I keep forgetting to press the button. I keep thinking it automatically and it won't. Bottas, Stroll goes 4th, 117.4. Hulkenberg's massively improving as well. What is Ricciardo going to do here? He was down in 17th. He goes fastest on a 117 flat. What a lap from Daniel Ricciardo. 117.0 for Ricciardo. Track is definitely ramping up, so maybe. Albon goes 5th. I don't knock Logan Sargeant. I'll be gutted. Hulkenberg goes 6th. As he does, yep, now he needs to be on track. Tsunoda goes 8th. So at the moment, I think Russell's about to get knocked out of qualifying. We've got Ocon, Gasly are in the pits, so they're out. Zhou only goes 16th. That might save him, but Bottas is improving as well. What does Bottas do? He goes up into 10th. Russell is out of qualifying, and if Magnussen improves as well, that'll finish off Perez's miserable day. Magnussen needs a bit of time. It's a personal best middle sector. Over the line goes Kevin Magnussen into 15th place. So we have lost Sergio Perez, George Russell, Zhou Guanyu, Esteban Ocon, and Pierre Gasly. George Russell was on track at the wrong time, and that's easy to say, I know, with hindsight, but he needed to be out a little bit later. He went too early, I think. Well, I know. You can see that. The track ramped up massively at the end there. Ricciardo fastest on a 17 flat. Hamilton and Verstappen at the same time in that session overall. Albon up in 5th place. Sargeant in 14th. So both Williams are through to Q2. Norris only 13th. Piastri 11th. Magnussen's lap moved him into 15th place, but it is Perez after his crash out. Russell out. Zhou out. Ocon and Gasly also out. So miserable time for the Alpines. And yes, no, Annette. Well done, Annette. Annette did say before the stream Perez would get 16th place. Perez is 16th. There you go. Confirmed. Annette is better than predictions, and I am. So you can do your predictions next time, Annette, for the for the preview. You can do them for me. But yeah, miserable day for Alpine. 19th and 20th. And not, I mean, what, Ocon, couple of tenths, let's say, off of Q2. Gasly, 4 tenths off Q2. I mean, that's not great, is it? Not great at all. But you've got Mercedes, back-to-back wins. People talk about a third one, and Russell being strong in at the moment, and he ends up 17th. But I think what's done it there for Russell, I mean, we know what's done it for Perez. He crashed. That's an easy one to analyse. He crashed. That's why he's out. But Russell, I think he went out straight away, didn't he? As soon as the session went green, he went straight out on track when it was still quite damp. Wasn't getting the times up temperature inevitably. Grip wasn't there. Couldn't deliver the lap time. And then, of course, we get to the end of the session. The track's drying out and the cars are getting quicker and quicker, as evidenced by the fact Ricciardo was fastest on a 117 flat. So there we go. Did Gasly stay in the pits after the red flag? Dennis says. So there we go. Yeah, that's what will have done it as well for Gasly. But Ocon looked a bit frustrated at the end, understandably. So yeah, a big surprise there in Russell. Annette would argue Perez isn't a surprise, because she predicted it that way. Thank you, by the way, everyone that's tuning in. We're up to 1,200 concurrent viewers, as they word it on YouTube. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Please do drop a like and don't forget to subscribe as well if you are new. We're live again tomorrow after the race to react to the Grand Prix. Lee did say at the start that he'd like me to do the watch-along streams. I've said it before. I can do a watch-along for the race, but I won't do a reaction, and the reaction is the one that people would prefer. But I might, over the summer, I might ask the question again. But yeah, people tend to prefer the reaction to the watch along for the race. So yeah, please do drop a like and subscribe if you're new as well. Thank you for your super chats as well today. That's massively appreciated as always. A few shout outs while we're in the adverts. Thanks to Nathan Paris, Bogdy, Rudolph, Dennis, Theodorus, Zigzag UK, for subbing. Lefton as well. I think we did Byron, Steve Chong as well. Thank you very much for your subs. Really appreciate the support. Looking for this season's really picking up, as I said earlier. So at least it's only we have Rosberg commentating. Fair enough. It's that shirt that's offended you, isn't it, Lee? Tell the truth. It's not what he's saying; it's what he's wearing. Is it still? Are we still not got? Is it KO working in Australia? A few people still saying I've not got coverage over there. So I'll do my best to keep updated. Just have a quick drink. So apologies. I may have to turn a fan on in a moment as well, so you might get a bit of buzzing in the background. But yeah, we'll see how we go. Russell, what does he say over the team radio? Oh, flipping Nora, I guess. Or blimey. Russell said, sorry about the session, guys. It's on me. So he's taking responsibility there for that one. Yes. Again, I just think a timing thing there. You can sort of understand it, though, from his point of view. You're down in, what was he, 14th when he went out on track? So, your 14th place, you've got to try, because you don't want to risk being knocked out. What are we watching a replay of here? Oh. So Russell says, why are we not putting enough fuel in the car to complete the session? Traction is getting better and better. So he noticed it on track. So he wanted more fuel to keep going, which is what you tend to see in these conditions, isn't it? Fuel the car up a little bit for several runs and just run it to the end of the session, but it didn't work out that way for George today, so that's cost him, so that's a shame. A shame because I'm enjoying this Mercedes, McLaren, Red Bull battle, and taking another car out of that is a shame, so yeah. Apparently it's just not working in Australia. Sorry to hear that, guys. That sucks, because it looks like we're having a great session as well, just to really rub that in, but yeah. I'll do my best to get there. But yeah, crowd look happy. The rain is still falling according to the app. Track temperature 29.6 degrees. Air temperature 24.3. Track is clear then. We're about to get going for Q2. This will obviously decide who's going to get through into the top 10 shootout. It's the Formula E title decided this weekend, isn't it, as well? I've not watched any Formula E this year, and I've read that it's been pretty terrible. So if you're a Formula E fan, feel free to let me know. I'd be intrigued. Hey, Del. Good to see you, mate. He says maybe he should have told them to put more fuel in the car before he went out. Fair enough. Thank you, Alfie. Check is in the post. Check is in the post. What was it? £3.50? Yeah. Because that's all I've got. Payday soon. Payday soon. Yeah. I'm just waiting for this session to get going now. Obviously, we've got a slight delay, obviously, with the red flag from earlier. So, yeah, we are green. We'll go. Turn that one off. There we go. So, let's see. Yeah, I know, Max. Don't. I tried something. I got a lot of criticism for that, you know. I tried it because I was trying to get into it. I thought it'd be fun to be kind of like a noob to that series, trying to learn it as I go with other people that may be new to the series, but I got too much stick for it, and I thought it's just not worth the hassle for something that's actually not as good as people make it out to be. He says, watching F1. We are green. We've got a Ferrari on track, and that would be Carlos Sainz going up to turn 4, to start his outlap, as he get his outlap going. James Stevens has some advice for people in Australia. I needed an accent then. That would have been it. Says people trying to watch KO in Australia use live channel 506 instead of the normal stream. We have something similar in the UK actually for Sky. They've got HD, Ultra HD, and then I think there's a standard definition one as well. You can flick to if it's not working. So that's an idea. Yeah. So there we go. Hopefully that fixed it for some people. RB reporting not much more rain incoming. Says surprise is no. Thank you very much, mate. So that's some information there for everybody. Sainz, I was going to say Sainz is purple in set 2, but of course he's the only one on track. He's not even started his flying lap yet, so it's not even that good a lap time. So, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I just read the advice. I don't know. Sainz is starting his lap. Here we go then. See what he can do. Into turn 1. Nicely through there. We'll keep an eye on his sector time. It's not going to mean anything at the moment. But yeah, if you are just tuning in as Sainz starts his lap, we have lost Perez after a crash. Russell, just poor timing. Zhou, Ocon and Gasly. Gasly apparently didn't go out for a final run, so that'll be why he's so far off the pace down there. But yes, Albon 5th, Sargeant 14th. The big surprise is Sargeant for a long time was up in 5th, 6th, 7th place, somewhere around there. So he's got some pace, and that one is looking good so far this weekend. I've just ruined it, haven't I? I've just ruined it. I'm sorry, Williams fans. But yeah, the rain seems to be easing. In fact, the official app now says no more rain. So hopefully we'll be dry now, and the track will keep ramping up. The rubber will keep going down, and we'll get some more laps in now, and hopefully a really great finish this session. I hope it's a bit more exciting than some endings to qualifying can be. Yeah, I'm trying to get excited about Sainz's lap. It's purple and purple, but he's the only one to take a time, so not a lot to say. He's just going to the final corner now to complete his first flying lap. I imagine he'll do at least one more as the track keeps improving. A 1:17 flat, so we're about as quick as we were in Q1. That time from Danny Rick, wasn't it? Danny Ricciardo was fastest. So yeah, we're in Q2. We're in Q2. Second qualifying, ready for this one. Just watching some slow-mos of Sainz. So we've got some cars on track there. We're starting to get some movement now. So we've got Hamilton out there. Verstappen, Bottas, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Stroll, Piastri. They're all queuing at the end of the pit lane. So they'll all be out very, very soon, I am sure. Hi, I saw the stream and first thing I noticed is Perez is 16th. What happened? Does somebody know? Yeah, it was a bit wet in Q1. Damp track, and he sort of turns in. Russell nearly lost it at the same spot a lap before. Turned into it's turn 8 and then just lost the car and straight into the wall, back end and then side on. So out of the session for another crash. So one of those that I think a lot of people have a bit of sympathy with him this time on that one because it's something that just happens sometimes in those conditions. And Russell nearly lost it a lap before, but Perez did. So as I said earlier, for Checo, if it does, doesn't rain, it pours. So. That's just where he's at the moment, unfortunately. Hamilton starting his flying lap. Who else is out there starting? I think Albon is just starting his, or is he just exiting the pit lane? Verstappen was next, wasn't he? So Verstappen coming through. Lee says he Perez'd it. That was probably the review there, wasn't it, really? Hamilton then coming through to complete the first sector. What's he done? 27.9 for Sainz. It's a 20... Oh, it's quicker. 27... Is that an 8? Yeah, it is 27.8 for Hamilton. So a good first sector there. Quicker than Sainz. But obviously, it's going to be difficult to read this early on because the track is going to keep improving as this session goes on. And there again, you see it there. Verstappen 0.3 quicker. 27... 5 for Verstappen in that first sector. So there we go. I wouldn't be surprised to see that keep improving now. Bottas 27.8, just slightly slower than Hamilton in the first sector. Hamilton comes through half a second quicker than Carlos Sainz, purple middle sector 26.9. What's Verstappen going to do? 55.2 overall for Sainz for the lap at that stage. So yeah, nearly a second now on top of that. So 26.7 Verstappen. So Hamilton's going to go quickest for now, 16.5. But I think Verstappen's about to drop, if not into the 15s, into the very, very low 1 minute 16s here. Comes through the final corner. What's he going to do? Oh, I thought I was looking at the wrong car. I was like, that's going to be a really quick lap time. 1:15.7. And that's a very, very quick time as the fans go crazy. But that's a very quick time, 1:15.7. In fact, it's obviously quicker than practice, but the track is ramping up. So what's Hulkenberg, Mr. Top 10, going to do? He goes 5th, 1:17.2. Piastri's purple in the middle sector, but is slightly down on Verstappen overall. Only slightly, about 100th of a second. So we'll see what he does as he comes through the final couple of corners. Alonso's a couple of tenths, nearly 3 tenths down the middle sector, or overall on Verstappen. Through the final corner comes Aussie P. Over the line for a 1:15.785. 100th and a half, 15,000th slower than Verstappen over the course of a lap. So good stuff from Oscar Piastri. 1:16.1 for Alonso. Matthew says Lewis was on 9-lap old stop. He's unused. That's a good point in his spot. There's on a Piastri, Stroll, Hamilton, Magnussen, Bottas, Sargeant, Hulkenberg, Albon, Tsunoda, and Norris all on used soft. So Verstappen, Alonso, everybody else basically, Sainz, Ricciardo, and Leclerc all on fresh softs. Thank you, Matthew, for reminding me. I tend to do that at the start of the session as I go out, but I forgot. So I appreciate that one, mate. Thanks for the info. But yeah, about 9-lap hold. 9 laps on the Hamilton soft. So there's definitely some time left in the bag there for sure. I'd love to see Sargeant into Q3. I like Alex Albon, so I'm not having a dig. But I'd quite like to see him out qualify Alex Albon finally. He was saying earlier this week, Logan Sargeant, he doesn't feel like his drives have been getting the praise that they deserve. He feels like he's improving. So, but I kind of feel like the decision's been made there, and nothing he does is going to make any difference apart from winning the championship, which he's not going to do. So yeah, Sainz purple in the first sector. He is on the newer tyres, of course. These were fresh when he first went out, but this is his second run on them. So the track is improving, obviously. I love it when Martin Brundle does the stuff like that, when he talks about them being new tyres, but they're only about 10 miles younger. or something like that. All puts it into perspective, doesn't it? The forces and the speeds all involved in this. Or you think that a set of tyres have done 10 miles less and they're considered new compared to used ones. I think Sainz is improving here, so he should move himself up the order a little bit from P10 at the moment. Will it be fastest? 15.7 for Verstappen, 15.885 for Sainz into third place. So no, it's not faster than Verstappen. But yeah, they're saving tyres, as Graham says, because I think apart from, and I may be wrong, I think it's the Astons had 5 sets coming into the session. Everybody else had 4 sets of softs. So people are going to have to run used at some point in the sessions. Because I think ideally you want, if you're in the top 10, you want 2 new sets, don't you? Ideally. Q2, maybe the top teams can get away with 1 new set. That's your 3, and then you're going to need at least 1 new set for the first session. So it's always nice to leave just a little bit of headroom, if you like. Make sure you've got a backup on those tyres. So where is Ricciardo? Ricciardo is 15th at the moment, yet to go out on track. Probably saving tyres, I would imagine. Nadia says Logan is already set to join IndyCar next year. Yeah, I read that a couple of weeks ago. They were saying that he'd done a deal, didn't they? So, yeah. Half listening to George Russell. Sorry if I've gone quiet, but saying it wasn't the team's usual standard. I think the complaint ultimately is what he said on the team radio, that they should have put more fuel in for the rest of the session. In fact, he's saying it now. So, Jesse says, do butterflies remember being caterpillars? That sounds like a really, really deep conversation, Jesse, that I'm not going to get into. That sounds really deep. Like we can really dig into that. I'm going to say no. I don't know. I don't know how butterflies break. I've never thought about it. Do you know what, Jesse? I'll level with you. I've never even thought about it, but it's all I'm going to think about for the rest of the bloody weekend now. So thank you very much. I'll be Googling it later. It's gone quiet on track, as you'd expect. We've got 5 minutes to go. All the cars in the garage. Just a quick run through the order. Verstappen fastest on a 1:15.770. Piastri just behind, 0.015 behind in second. Sainz third, Alonso fourth, Norris fifth, Leclerc sixth, Stroll seventh, Hamilton eighth, Magnussen ninth, and Tsunoda 10th. Currently losing Bottas, Sargeant, Albon, Hulkenberg, and Ricciardo. But reminder, Hulkenberg, Albon, Sargeant, Bottas, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Hamilton, Stroll, Norris, and Piastri all used tyres. The easier way to do that would have been to say that everybody except for Verstappen, Sainz, Alonso, and Leclerc used tyres. There you go. This is going to be really... I think actually... Atulia's just saying there in chat, Hamilton is taking pole. I think the cooler conditions have really played to Mercedes this weekend. So, and I did mention that in the preview, that they tend to be better. Projected knockout time is a 1:16.3, by the way. So everybody up to Norris needs to go again. I suspect everybody's going to go full stop anyway. Because for about the 300th time in the last 10 minutes, this track is going to keep ramping up. So I expect people to be fueled up now for a few runs to the end of the session as we come up to 3 minutes remaining. Free says, caterpillars liquefy in the chrysalis, the chrysalis, and they literally turn into goo before reassembling into butterflies. There you go. So I'd assume no, then, is the answer to Jesse's question. I'll tell you now, that's once this stream's over, we're doing it. I agree. I hate the queuing as well. But as I've said before, I'd rather they did it in the pit lane than being really slow on track and causing chaos. So, what's happened here? Has Leclerc, whoa, very nearly, very close to the garage doors there, the door frame. There was nothing there. Very, very close. Is Ricciardo not doing a lap? Ricciardo's out there. He's out there on track. Don't worry. Don't worry. He is out there. He's just gone out. Hulkenberg on the radio, I assume, saying we're getting done here. It's taking too long. We've got 2 minutes left. And they're still queuing in the pit lane at the end of the pit lane. So time is running out here. People aren't going to get their optimum lap in. Look, my final point on this, okay, and then we are going to get into the last 2 minutes. I promise I'll stop. This is my final point on this. I do not know enough about butterflies to be able to answer the question. I'm leaving it to you guys in chat. There we go. That's my final point on it. Here comes Lewis Hamilton then. He's starting a flying lap. He's going to complete his first sector. 2 tenths up. 2 tenths down, sorry, but he's up on his personal best. So 27.7 in the first sector. 27.5 from Lance Stroll. That everybody will be on everyone on new tyres except for Verstappen, Piastri, Sainz. No, that can't be right. Piastri, Sainz, and Magnussen and Hulkenberg. Is Piastri on used tyres again? Did he use an extra set in another session? He must have done. Everyone's out, by the way. Everyone is out there, so everyone should get a lap in. Everyone who's out there is going to be out there. Is going to be out there. Yeah, Hamilton yellow in the middle sector, so not improving. He goes 6th, so 16.307, half a second off Verstappen. So obviously, good lap from Stroll, goes 4th on a 16 flat. Great lap from Stroll. I'll keep an eye on Albon, then I'll say what I was going to say about Mercedes. Albon coming through the final corner here. Going to get a slight toe, maybe not. Goes 9th on a 16.4. I was just going to say that maybe the rain cooled things down a bit more, which played into Mercedes' hands because they were looking rapid in those conditions. Sargeant goes 10th on a 16.5. 20 seconds to go. Probably not going to sneak through here, but that's still a good lap time from Logan Sargeant there. But yeah, no, maybe that just helped things for Mercedes because that's not a great lap for Hamilton at all. As Ricciardo goes 6th. On a 16.2, only 4 tenths off Verstappen's fastest time. So I think we're going to lose Albon here as well. Leclerc goes up to 4th on a 15.891. Norris purple in the middle sector to the track now. Seems to be coming back to McLaren and Red Bull and co. So what's Alonso going to do? Stroll is 5th at the moment. Alonso is 6th. Is Alonso going to get out qualified again by his teammates? He is. It's a 16.1 for Alonso. So Stroll has out-qualified Fernando Alonso. Norris goes across the line. He's going to go fastest. He did on a 15.540. What is Tsunoda going to do? It's between Albon and Tsunoda here at the moment. That's nonsense because Magnussen, Bottas and Hulkenberg are all improving as well. So we could get some surprises here. Pascal's got everything crossed, I'd imagine. What we're going to do, here comes Tsunoda. It's a 1.16.1 to go 8th. Ricciardo drops to 9th. Bottas is 100th off Q3 here. Valtteri Bottas is very close to springing what would be a massive surprise and knock out Lewis Hamilton, former teammate. Whoever said Hamilton was on pole, you jinxed it, because I think what is Bottas going to do? Oh, that is close. 700ths of a second from Bottas. Hulkenberg goes 11th on a 1.16.3. He's not in the top 10. And Kevin Magnussen finishes in 15th place. Lewis Hamilton scrapes through by the skin of his teeth. 100th of a second. 1.16.307 for Hamilton. 1.16.317 for Hulkenberg. That was nervy for Mercedes and Hamilton. That was on the new tyres as well. So Hulkenberg on used tyres, very close to sneaking in. So it's 11th place for Hulkenberg. So he's not the top 10 guy today, but he's basically there. Let's just put it that way. So Norris fastest on a 1.15.540. Verstappen second on a 1.15.770. Piastri third, 15.785. Watching an onboard of Hamilton. Did he catch? It was a slow lap for the delete. Oh, yeah, really. Big swapper at turn 5. Few corrections there, so that's cost him some time. But anyway, Sainz 15.885 in 4th. Leclerc 15.891 in 5th. Stroll hasn't out-qualified Alonso. Has beat him in this session on 1.16.075. Alonso 1.16.117 in 7th. Tsunoda 1.16.121 on Ricciardo. Who was in 9th on a 1.16.202. Hamilton just scraping through 1.16.307. Hulkenberg 100th of a second away from Q3, but he's 11th. Bottas 12th. Albon 13th. Sargeant 14th. And Kevin Magnussen in 15th place. So do you know what? In Logan's, I feel like I'm just Logan Sargeant's defender right now, but in Logan Sargeant's defence, not bad at all. That 14th place, just behind his teammate. Not quite the excitement we're expecting. one stage today, but that's still a really decent effort there. So, yes, we've lost Hulkenberg, Bottas, Albon, Sargeant, and Magnussen. This is going to be close at the front. 2 McLarens, 2 Ferraris, 2 Astons, 2 RBs, and then 1 Red Bull and 1 Mercedes. Alex Albon is under investigation, by the way. I will tell you for what. Incident involving Alex Albon noted failing to follow race director's instructions regarding the maximum delta time. So probably no action there, but just to let you know, he is under investigation at the end of the session. So, yes. What happened to Russell? So, to anyone who is just popping in, first of all, nearly 2,000 of you here. Please do drop a like and subscribe as well. Lots of content to come. We're live again tomorrow for the race reaction. Of course, we're doing the live streams next weekend and the preview on Thursday. So please do drop a like and subscribe as well. That'd be massively appreciated. Still a few more shout outs on the subs as well. Use Less Meerkat, thank you very much for your sub. Friendly FG, Perry Fogo, Andy, Lewis, Jeremy W, Lego Bro. I think we did Nathan Paris as well. Thank you very much for your subs. Please do subscribe if you are new. Lots to come this season. Lots of races to come this season. Forget the content. We're only at the halfway point. There's plenty still to come. Can't wait for it. It's going to be great. But yes, if you are just tuning in, Perez was knocked out in Q1 after he crashed at turn 8. Again, one of those unfortunate situations. A bit damp down there. Got caught out. Russell was almost caught out there a lap or a few moments before, but managed to catch it. But Perez straight into the wall, and that's damaged his car, so he's out. And George Russell just went out too early in Q1. Went out on track. It was still too damp. He was hoping it was going to dry out. It didn't enough at the time. They didn't put enough fuel in to run into the end of the session, and that ultimately meant that he didn't improve. So yeah, it was game over for him. Thank you, Connor, for your sub as well. Just spotted you at the corner of my eye there. So yeah, no, that's what happened to Russell. Just didn't fuel the car for long enough. And Hamilton had a scruffy lap, which means he just scraped through. But any other surprises? Perez, Russell, Gasly didn't go out for a final run in Q1. Sargeant blaming traffic and saying no one moves. So maybe he feels he's been impeded. Well, he obviously feels he's been impeded there. So we'll watch. Are we going to get a replay? No, we're just watching replays of the team radar there. So not happy at all. Is Logan Sargeant, but I don't think that's a bad effort. I mean, what? 1:16.429, 1:16.543. That's not bad for Sargeant, but like I said earlier, I don't think there's anything he can do to save his seat. I think that's been decided already. Just the rhetoric, just what they're saying in the media. It's James Vowles is pretty clear that he's talking to other people, and that doesn't tend to end well, does it? So, yeah, there you go. So I think whatever happens, we've got to mix the grid. I'll be interested what Russell can do coming through tomorrow, and Perez as well if he can get through. But it's a really, really tough track to overtake on. So that's gonna be fascinating. But we've still got Q3. We've still got the shootout for pole. What are you going with in chat? Let me know. Who do you think is gonna get pole position? I am gonna stick with Norris. I said it on Thursday. I said at the start of the stream. He's looked good. He topped 2 of the practice sessions. He was quick towards the end there. In fact, he was fastest towards the end. I'm going to stick with Norris. Let me know in chat who you're going with. Pew Pew says Leclerc. Losing Hope says, wait, George. No. That's about right, yeah. Norris for Michael. Nate just is not sure. It's so close, isn't it? It really is. Piastri says Annette. I'd love it, Annette. You know I'd love that. Jordan says Norris. Danny Rick for Pole says AI absolutely indecisive musician. Cracking name. Aaron says Sainz. Best says Ocon. I don't think Ocon will because he's not in Q3. But yeah, Clay says Norris. It's Verstappen. Come on, says Azari. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I might have been Verstappen. As I was going to say, as a Verstappen fan, but I'm the fan of about 5 drivers, so it doesn't really count, does it? It's no fanboyism here, just a fan of a number of drivers. Charles Paul says Stephen. Frosty's going with Piastri. Sirac says Max on top. Norris pole, but I think Hamilton deserves a pole, says Shady. It was pole here last year, wasn't he? Was Hamilton, which surprised a lot of people. Kay says Max, my goat. They'll start in a few minutes, Paul Sar. I think for a minute's time from where we are now. Norris for me, but I'm hoping Piastri gets his turn. I'd love Piastri to do it. Piastri's on my list of favourite drivers, as we went over the other week. I'm just trying to get through. Quite a few Piastris coming. Hamilton. Jonathan says Piastri. Other Jonathan says Hamilton. Free says Norris. Ricardo all the way, says Richard. Do you know, if Ricardo gets pole with Perez down in 16th, yeah, don't be surprised if there's a swap tomorrow. I don't think they can do that, but there we go. Yeah, lots of Piastri love, lots of Norris love. So you seem to be going between Norris, Piastri, just looking through now, Verstappen, for some reason Ricardo, and Hamilton's getting a couple of mentions. But yeah, nobody thinking. We've got a couple of sites. Nobody thinks Leclerc's going to get up there. I think we had the first one. Pew said Leclerc, didn't they? But is that what we're thinking then? McLaren versus Red Bull with could you imagine Alonso on pole? When was the last pole for Alonso? Was it 1832? Something like that. It feels like it. It probably wasn't even that long ago. Probably back about 10 years or something. But that's a while, isn't it? Verstappen told, make that lack of a toe count. So are some other teams trying the toe? Well, no, because Piastri and Norris have gone out opposites, and Sainz and Leclerc have got Hamilton between them. So maybe still, I mean, you can find a toe from other people, can't you? But yeah, we've got 11 minutes in this session left already. They're queuing in the pit lane. Everybody on new tyres that has gone out on track, but we have only got Verstappen, Piastri, Sainz, Hamilton, Leclerc, and Alonso. I mean, I say only. And then we've got 2 more coming out on track now, Tsunoda and Norris. That is 8 of the 10, to be fair. So only pretty much everybody. Rain in 5 minutes, according to the TV there. So maybe some of those that are sat waiting might go and get a banker lap in now, quickly. Alonso's last pole was Germany 2021, so 2012. Yeah, 2012. I was just going to say that, H. Just I thought you got your 2 and your 1. Yeah, it was 2012. Has it been that long? God. Alonso told second run could be affected by the rain. This could be the one. So here goes Max Verstappen then on the soft tyres. That rain is on its way. He's got some traffic ahead in turn 1, but they should jump out of the way. Doesn't hit the apex at turn 1, but you can take a wide line through there. Should be okay. Coming down towards turn 2 with his DRS wide open. Just have 180 miles an hour through on the approach to that corner. Not through there, that would be crazy. Through what we're going to call the Crawford, Correa, Behrman corner for the rest of the weekend. That was insane. If you didn't see the F2, definitely give it a watch. Turn 4, love that corner. Not so much in the game. I always end up in the wall, like Leclerc did, of course, in practice yesterday. So I don't know why that matters, but it just does. Into the 7 and 8 chicane. Sorry, I get so mixed up here. The 6 and 7 chicane. Then turn 8, where Perez had his crash and Russell nearly had his crash. Through 9, nicely done. It's a tiny lap. It doesn't look spectacular, but he's the quickest out there. Piastri isn't quicker than him in the first sector. As he comes up now to turn 11. It's turn 12, Sean. Keep up. Turn 30. It's because the map says turn 12 and turn 12A. Coming to the final corner, just passes Norris. Didn't get in the way, so that's okay. Through turn 14. Accelerates the line. This could be the critical lap with the rain on the horizon, and it's a 15.555. He hops right out of the way and will not give Norris a toe. 15.555 for Verstappen, and it is a 15.863 for Piastri, who did go purple in the final sets. The purple sets at the moment, Verstappen, and Piastri, 1, 2, and 3. Sainz is 16.2 in third place. Yeah, thanks, Del. It's true. I'm dreadful. And that's on easy. That's on like really low AI. I can't do anything. I'm useless. 15.9 for Hamilton into third place. So not far off Piastri, but 3.5, just over tenths off pole. Or provisional pole. Leclerc goes third on a 15.9. Good stuff there. We've got some Ferraris in the mix here, but as I said at the start, it looks like Verstappen versus McLaren for pole, and then the Ferraris and the Mercedes in behind. What does Alonso do? He goes fifth on a 16.0. Purple middle sector for Norris. So he is very quick. 2, nearly 3 tenths. Quicker than Verstappen in the middle sector. So Lando Norris is absolutely flying. He's still going to get a point in his predictions. It feels like forever since I've got a decent point on my predictions, rather than just a driver who finished second that I got right. Over the line comes Lando Norris with a 1:15.227. That is a cracking lap from Lando Norris, and that is a big gap, just over 3 tenths of a second ahead of Verstappen, 6 tenths clear of Piastri. That is a stonking lap from Lando, as Kevin says. Sorry, every time. That's a great lap. What is Stroll doing then? Not bad, actually, Lance Stroll. 26.9 in the middle. What's he going to do? Only goes 8th on a 162, but only a second separating the top 8 here. What's Tsunoda going to do? He's already done a lap, yeah. So they did... So used tyres for Alonso and the 2 RBs. So there's time to be found there. So keep an eye on that one. But... Oh... I know the track's improving, but is it improving enough for Verstappen to find 0.3 of a second? This isn't a little bit of time. That's a good chunk of time. And the rain is hanging around. It is on its way. In fact, the timing screens have just updated to say it is raining. So it does say it is raining. It doesn't look anything heavy at the minute from what we can see on TV. But apparently rain is starting to fall. So that's according to the timing screens. That doesn't mean it's happening. It's just that I'll be done on data. So... yeah, this is going to be interesting. Thank you to Mike, to Boy Cantot, Ben, to Matt, to Emma Teen, to Charlie, to Bez, to Daniel, to Clay. Is it to Lukey, and to Zippy, and to Norfin, and to Marcus, to Michael, to Theo, to Connor, to John, and to, I've always said to use that's Meerkat, but I'll say it again. Thank you for your subs. Please do subscribe if you're new. Don't forget to drop a like as well. Nearly 250. Let's get to 300. There's 2,100 of you here. Let's get that to 300. That'd be fantastic. This has been a great session so far with some big surprises. I'm going to say now, I don't see... thank you to Romeo as well. Sorry, Mick Romeo, if I missed you. They don't always show up on the feed on thingy, on Streamlabs, so they sometimes take a little while to come through. So I'll give you the shout out. There you go. But yes, thank you to everyone for your subs, etc. But yeah, this has been a great session so far. Some big surprises. I think I think Norris is looking good here. That's a lot of time to find. But the track has been improving. But again, according to timing screens, the rain is falling, but it doesn't look... A few ponchos going on. And by a few, I mean 2, so a couple. And somebody at the back there taking a hat on and off, so they can't decide if it's raining or not. But there you go. We're about to find out how wet it is, if it's wet at all. This is going to be big. Yeah, there's lots of time to go, Martin Brundle just saying in the commentary there. There is plenty of it. Effie says, I legit sub, never got a shout out. There you go. You got one there, Effie. Like I say, it doesn't always crop up on the Streamlabs thing on recent events, which is annoying. So I do sometimes miss some, so apologies. But I shout out what's there when I can. But yeah. Subs, likes, super chats, just saying hello. It's fine in chat. It all helps the channel, so appreciate the support. We're back again tomorrow, as I keep saying. And of course for quali next week and the preview on Thursday as well. Thanks for your support on this week's preview, by the way. Did really well, actually, which surprised me. They've struggled a little bit at times this year, but I think as the season's getting a bit more exciting, I think people are coming back. So great to see so many here today and on the channel in general. But we're going. We've filled that little 2 minutes there with YouTuber spiel. Let's crack on with this. Piastri, Norris, I think Ricciardo's starting a lap as well. Indeed he is. All on new tyres, except for Lando Norris, apparently. Correct me if I'm wrong in chat, but according to the timing screens, Norris is on used softs. Piastri purple in the first sector. Only just. This is close. This is close. What could Piastri do for the middle sets? We'll keep an eye on it, but apparently it says Norris on used. If that changes, I will let you know. But everybody else except for Stroll on used tyres, so yes. Sainz has gone purple. Oh, we couldn't have a Ferrari pole with Short doing a watch along. Verstappen goes quicker. This isn't over. This is not over. It's all about these final couple of sectors, of course, but everyone improving. What can Norris do? Again, it says he's on used tyres, so we'll see if he does improve, but the tyres have held up pretty well today because the temperatures are a bit cooler, so it's not been too bad. But over the line goes Piastri into second place, so 1:15.249. He does actually go purple in the middle sector. It's a 15... 249 Piastri. At the minute, it's a McLaren 1-2. Sainz is improving. Verstappen's improving, but he's not purple in the middle sector. 0.003 of a second quicker at the moment. Here goes Carlos Sainz, only P4, 1:15.696. He was purple in the first sector. We've got 2.5 minutes left. There's still time in this session. Round the final corner comes Max Verstappen. He needs to beat a 1:15.227. He does. not. It's a 1:15.273. We have yellow flags. Tsunoda is, I assume, that's a big shunt for Tsunoda. That's going to be a red flag. They need to throw it now. There we go. Well done, race control, for once. They can get out the pits to go again. It's whether or not they're going to do it. So as it stands, with Tsunoda in the wall, Norris on pole, 0.02 of a second quicker than Piastri in second, Verstappen third, Sainz fourth, Hamilton fifth, Leclerc sixth, Alonso seventh, Stroll in eighth, ninth for Tsunoda, who's just crashed, and 10th for Ricciardo. Medical car has been deployed. That'll be an instant thing with sensors and that and forces involved. That's a big shunt. He's got a wheel off as well, so that is a heavy shot. So 2 minutes and 13 left while we wait for a replay. Yuki is getting out the car, so he's okay. So 2 minutes 13 left. So these drivers can get out again, but because they, excuse the language, but piss about at the end of the pit lane with their queuing, it's unlikely anyone's actually going to get out there. So what has happened to Yuki Tsunoda? So he comes through turn 4. He's all right there. Then through 5. Oh, he's got... Oh, that's a... Oh, airborne. That's a nasty one. So he's gone wide through turn 5, over the curb, hit some sort of bump, maybe the edge of the curb, and then taken off into the wall. That is a really nasty crash. He's okay, but that car is a mess, obviously, and that was airborne. But yeah, they could go again, but it's unlikely. Well, actually, I say that. Whoever gets the end of the pit lane first will get a lap in. It's what happens behind that. Yeah, right, and Freeze is right, especially if it is raining. That's going to be interesting. But yeah, launched his car. It looks a bit shaken up there, a bit winded, but I'm not surprised. And he punches the barrier, does Yuki. Yeah, medical car's there. They'll check him over. But he's now going to get into that one. Yeah, so it's all about the G-force involved, and it's all sensors. And it was same with Leclerc yesterday. You hit the wall hard enough, even if you're fine, the medical car will just be instantly deployed. It's one of many great safety features in F1. But yeah, it launched him over the curb. So did he hit the edge of the curb? Because he was wide at turn 5. I need another replay, really. But he was wide at turn 5. And has he hit the grass? No, he's not got to the grass before he's taken off, has it? It must just be a bump in the curb. But yeah, no sausage curb there. So it's not the sausage curb to blame this time. Maybe the edge of the AstroTurf there. I need to watch it again. Unless it's supposed to fly. They say Red Bull gives you wings. So... Maybe that's the issue. Maybe that's it. There you go. David says it's the car's fault. In the sense, sorry, David, in the sense that something broke that we missed. Did something break on the car? If you're referring to Yuki. Laura McKeese is going to talk to Sky now. Richard says KO is back. What perfect timing. Right for the end of the session. Well, cars are heading out the pit lanes at the end of the garage now. So we've got, so they are going to go for it here. So Laura McKee saying on first glance caught a slippery bit of track and then went, well, we're going to watch a replay now. So he's coming into turn 5. Yeah, he's just hit. He's just gone wide, and then he's gone over the curb on the exit, which isn't unusual, but he's gone a lot wider than that. And as he's hit the end of what I would call the AstroTurf, but could be grass, he's kind of taken off. But he's okay. It's a hefty shunt. Oh, David says Perez's low performance is due to Checo not being used to the car. It's not completely his car. Is what David says, and not Yuki. Sorry, David. I thought I was kind of having two conversations there. But no, there are cars queuing at the end of the pit lane, so they are going to try and go. It's 1:15 for a hot lap. But yeah, like Mark says, we sprint to the line now. Not everyone's going to get it. In fact, Lando Norris could be one of the last in the queue here. So that this could be great. This could be terrible. We've got, I don't know what's going on here. We've got some weird replays going on. So I think Verstappen is getting out of the car. So Verstappen's out of the car. So he's obviously conceded that by the time he gets to the end of the pit lane, it's too late and he's not going to get out. So Verstappen will not be any better than P3. Gregory says, why do those commentators seem to enjoy ragging on Hamilton? Who are you listening to, Gregory? Because if you're listening to Sky, then I think it's the opposite. They do nothing but get very excited about Lewis Hamilton, which is fine. They're a British broadcaster, aren't they? So they're going to. But I don't know who your commentators are, Gregory, to be honest. You'll have to let me know. So they are restarting a session. That's confirmed. It's because there's enough time here. So we've got... Who have we got? So who's at the end of the pit lane first? We've got Hamilton just ahead of Piastri here. Who's ahead of Hamilton? Is that Norris? I think we've got... Yeah, it's Norris, Hamilton, Piastri, Ricciardo, Stroll, and then the two Ferraris. I think Leclerc, then Sainz. So... So Max Verstappen is out of the car talking to the FIA Perez, helmet off. He's not going out again. So all I can assume is by the time he gets down there to the back of the queue, there's no point. I'm going to time this as they're going out and keep an eye on this and whether he would have made it. But that's probably how they've read it. But it's going to be a little. They're just sweeping his track up now from Yuki's crash. As if you are just tuning in, Yuki Tsunoda has crashed. Quite a big crash up at turn 5, the exit of turn 5. He's okay. Bit winded and a bit shook up, but no great surprise. The car did take off, so he's fine though. He's okay. Or at first glance he is. We'll see what happens when he's been checked over at the medical centre, but he should be okay. Norris being told on the radio, rain expected. So 5 minutes time for rain. So they might get the lap in here if we get this session underway. So yeah, Yuki Tsunoda's crashed, so he won't be going out there. Verstappen is out of the car, so he's not going out. So the best he'll be is third. This could be interesting. This could be very, very interesting. But we've also lost Perez, who crashed at turn 8 in Q1 on a bit of a damp patch, we think, and lost the car and hit the wall. George Russell, he was on the bubble, looking set to go out, and then went out on track when the track was still too damp, didn't put enough fuel in to complete the session and ended up being caught out by an improving track as he pulled into the garage. No fuel to go any further. He pitted and everybody else went out and did better times and knocked him out. So he got caught out by the conditions. And we know that Gasly didn't go out to do a final run, so I don't know why he's down there, but that could be part of it. So I assume most are going to be unused because they haven't got any more. They've got 4 sets of softs. Verstappen's back in the garage, but he's not back in the car. He's going straight to the back of the garage. See, Crofty's having a witter and a whinge about not understanding why Red Bull aren't in that queue. But I think unless... I'm going to time it as they come out, but I assume that's because they're not going to get the lap in because they'll be too late. Because you've got Alonso's not out there either. He's not going to improve. The best he's going to do is 7th. So everybody except Verstappen and Alonso is there at the end of the pit lane. Yes, one more like and we get 3. Who could be 300th like of the day? I'll do some shout outs on subs as well while we're here. Thank you to Easy Brazil, Mayu, to Gaming with Malcolm, to David, to Dennis, to Dogan, to Wesley, to Red Dog, to Aditya. I'm very bad at names, as you can tell. To Mark, to Mike, and to Boy Kanto. I think I've done a couple of those already, but thank you for your subs. Please do subscribe if you're new and leave a like as well. That'd be massively appreciated. We're just on 356, so there you go. MEO says 300 likes. I got it. There you go. MEO gets it. It could have been somebody else, but we'll give it to... He was first in chat, or they were first in chat, so there we go. Yeah, please do like and subscribe if you're new. 2 minutes 13 to go. Let's see what happens. And of course, we'll chat for 20 minutes or so after the session. Just do some questions about tomorrow and F1 in general. Then we'll wrap it up. And then, of course, live tomorrow for the race reaction. It is raining. There is rain on the camera there, and we could see it on the McLaren. So rain is falling. So I don't think we're going to get any improvements. You never know. We'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting last 2 minutes and 13 seconds. Just waiting for the go-ahead. 17:21 local time. So 3 minutes from now. Fabian says, who is your favourite driver? Of all time, Michael Schumacher. On the grid at the moment, I honestly don't have one. People don't believe me. But Hamilton is not one of them, unfortunately. No, I don't have one. So looking down the timing screens as they are listed, so not in any order. So Piastri, Verstappen, Leclerc, I think Alex Albon. I just think he's a nice guy generally. You'll love the next one, Ocon and Gasly. You'll love that. Yeah, Ocon. Yeah. All right, fine. Leave me alone. I like accidents. All right. Stefan says, I'll resub for a shout. You always get shout out, Stefan. You don't need to resub for a shout out. God. Yeah, the rain is falling, so I think they've got procedures to follow. It's a shame they couldn't go a bit more quickly, couldn't they? Yeah, it's spitting, DH said. It's spitting about. There is rain. You can see it on the cars from other angles, not necessarily in that angle of the Hamilton car. By the way, that I still love that Mercedes livery this year. I think it reminds me of the McLarens of the late 90s. Ricciardo getting his gloves on, so I think we're getting ready to go. Couple of minutes left. Yeah, Pew says it's raining, so times won't get better. You're probably right, but just hang fire. You never know. Things may improve. It's unlikely. Islam says Niki Lauda. Niki Lauda's a great shout for favourite driver of all time. What a legend. What's the word I'm looking for? A warrior, almost, you could say. Unbelievable. He was given last rites, I think, was it twice? At least twice? Unbelievable. And then to come back so quick, I mean, just what a top guy as well. Yeah. Cars are starting up, by the way. But yeah, Niki Lauda's a great shout. A lot of people say Ayrton Senna for favourite of all time. But I think it's all generational, isn't it? There'll be people who are older watching this whose favourite drivers might be a Jackie Stewart, for example, or somebody like that. Whereas then me, it's Michael Schumacher. And there'll be some watching this now who'll say Hamilton, and others will say Verstappen, and some might say somebody from the early 2000s, like an Alonso, for example. So I think it's all generational. I sometimes think it's the driver you grow up with. And mine was very much Michael Schumacher. Mitchell says Jim Clark. Exactly. Great shout. We have gone green. Norris is not leaving. There we go. Slow away. So that's 2 minutes and 5. I'm timing this. We're at 2 minutes and Hamilton hasn't gone out yet. He is now exiting the pit lane. A minute and 50. We're cut to a minute and 50 before Piastri's going to get out there. So this is why it's quite easy to work out why Red Bull haven't sent Verstappen and why Alonso hasn't been sent by Aston, unless there's another issue with the car or something. I don't know. But if it is just down to timing, I mean, that's a minute 40, and we're still waiting for Sainz to go out. So that's 140, 36, 35, 34, 33. So yeah, there you go. Look, 130. A minute and 30 before. So Verstappen would have been at least 125. Then you've got 10 seconds spare to get your... So you've got to push as hard as you can on your outlap in order to get round to do your lap. So you're not going to get a perfect lap in. So that's probably why, unless there is a problem with the car. We might find out in half an hour's time in a press release that actually there was an issue with the car and he couldn't go out. We are still going. We are. Coming up to the final minute now. So I think looking at it now, Verstappen and Alonso could have got out, but it wouldn't have left them the time to perfect their lap or anything like that. So they're out lap, so probably wouldn't have improved. But we'll see. Let's see what happens. I'm just keeping an eye on the driver tracker. So we've got a similar situation to, was it last week or week before? We had that gaggle of cars across the line, including Gasly and co. We've got Stroll, Leclerc and Sainz all pretty much together on track. They're just starting to gap out a little bit now. But we'll see. Here goes Norris to start his lap. He's first to start his lap. He has got his lap in. Lewis Hamilton will get his lap in. I'll count them across the line rather than watching the times just for a minute. Hamilton's got his lap in, so he's over the line. Piastri should. Ricciardo should. I think they all will. But this is the Alonso Verstappen factor. Sainz is backing off a bit. Piastri's over the line. Sainz isn't going to do it. Ricciardo's across the line. Stroll's across the line. Leclerc is just across the line as the flag came out. Sainz pitted, so Sainz didn't. So no, Verstappen and Alonso, if they'd have been at the back of that queue, would not have got the lap in. So that's why. And it doesn't matter anyway because Norris isn't improving. 28 flat. So I don't think. Although no, they're the wrong ones. They're wrong timing, Sean. Hamilton 27.6, not improving. These are all used tyres as well. So I think it's an anticlimactic end to what was looking like a pretty thrilling qualifying. Ricciardo's improving, but he didn't really set a proper representative hot lap. So 27.8 for Ricciardo. So that's an improvement. Leclerc doesn't improve. Sainz pitted. Stroll hasn't improved. Norris has got pole. So I think pole is done. Norris has got pole. 200s quicker than Piastri. Unless there's going to be a surprise here. No, Norris is pitted. Probably too slippery. The tyres are already used, aren't they? Hamilton's going to complete his lap. He may as well. He stays in P5 on a 1:15.854. Sorry if I sound really flat and bored, but it's because this is really anticlimactic. Piastri pits. Ricciardo will keep going because he didn't actually get a representative. In fact, according to the timing, Ricciardo on TV has done a 0.0, so he's super quick. He didn't even move. He's moved up to 9th. He's out qualified Tsunoda, so it's worth Ricciardo going again then, because he's gone 300s quicker than Tsunoda to take that position. But that is it. Qualifying's over. They're all in the pits. They were never going to improve. We know that, don't we? It was definitely, of all of those, Ricciardo, it was worth it because he did jump ahead of Tsunoda. So there you go. Norris is 3rd, I believe, career pole position. It is a McLaren 1-2 on the grid, with Oscar Piastri just 2 100ths behind Lando Norris. Max Verstappen 3rd, didn't go out in the final part of the session, but there's no point anyway. 4th place for Sainz. I'd actually kind of say again, 3rd place for Verstappen, less than half a tenth separated the top 3. This season has turned so good. Carlos Sainz in 4th place, a long way back. Lewis Hamilton 5th, Leclerc 6th, Alonso 7th, Stroll 8th, Ricciardo 9th, and Tsunoda 10th. We know Hulkenberg is 11th, Bottas 12th, Albon 13th, Sargeant 14th, and Magnussen 15th. And then out in Q1, Perez 16th, Russell 17th, Zhou 18th, Ocon 19th, and Gasly in 20th. Things to look out for there. Whether or not Perez will finish or will start in 16th is questionable, because there might need to be some changes to some internals on the car, because it was quite a hefty whack. Similar story with Tsunoda as well. He might need some other changes, so they may take penalties, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. But I do want some credit. I don't get a lot because I'm not often right on things, so I'm going to take a second. All right. I did say at the start of the stream, before we really got into anything, that it looked as though we had McLaren and Red Bull, then a big gap to Ferrari and Mercedes, and then the rest. And that is pretty much exactly how it played out. Half a tenth between the top 3, and then nearly half a second back to Sainz in 4th. So I'm going to take I bowed. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. It wasn't really a difficult prediction. All I did was look at the times from practice, but you know. I'll take anything at this stage of the season. My season score for predictions is horrendous. Jim says the question is whether or not Perez will finish the season. But we'll find out, won't we? That's the dog barking. Apologies. Thanks for the commentary. Look forward to the race. No problem at all, Steve. I'm going to stay live for a couple sort of 20 minutes now. We'll talk about what's happened. But if you are going, thank you to everyone who's tuned in. Please do leave a like before you go. And don't forget to subscribe if you are new as well. I'm trying to shout over the dog. Thanks to Charles and to Steve and to Wilden, to Ian, to Andrew, to Barry, to Jake, is it B Dana or B Dana? Thank you very much for your subs. Massively appreciate that. It really helps the channel out. It's free as well. We are live tomorrow with the race reaction, and of course preview Thursday, qualifying Watchalong on Saturday, and of course we'll be live again on Sunday with the race reaction. Apologies for the dog. I think somebody's at the door with a part. It's my I signed up to the, is it D'Agostini magazine subscription? It gets you the Ferrari cars. I've got my my latest ones just arriving, so I've got about 10 now. It's worth the money. It's pretty decent. They're good cars. But yeah, any questions, throw them in chat. In a moment, I'll do a pause for the timestamp so I can do a wrap-up of the session. But any questions in the meantime, thank you to Marcus for your sub. I'll answer some of those, and then we'll wrap it up for the day. You can't hear the dog. Oh, that's all right then, Jim. I can. He's driving me crackers, but he's lovely. If they were going to ditch him during the season, sure they'd have given him his marching orders by now, says Louis. Or Lewis. Is it Louis? Or... I don't know. I think we've had this conversation before, but we're doing it again. Leclerc's name is Gray because I don't know, to be honest. That might be a bug, because he was okay and he did go out on track, so maybe just because he pulled straight into the pits, but a few did, so I don't know, but no, Leclerc's fine, don't worry. He's okay. Either way, that's all right, that's okay. But yeah, so can Oscar win tomorrow? He absolutely can, Anushka, and I would love him to. Absolutely love him to. I think a lot of people made the point, so I'll make it as well. It's a good point. A lot of the wins we've had this season have been... His name is Grey because of the curse. Nice one. No, but a lot of the wins we've had this season have been feel-good wins, haven't they? Sainz after his appendicitis, people keep pointing out. The Monaco curse getting broken for Leclerc. Norris' first career win. Hamilton at Silverstone, even Russell at Canada. So, Piastri winning, getting his first Grand Prix win, will be a really nice way to sort of head to the summer break. So we'll just keep that feel-good stuff going. But, yeah. That's all I'm saying on that one. I just try to work out why Leclerc's name is Grey, but he's not stopped on track or anything. It usually goes Grey if someone stops on track, but he's back in the pits, so he's all good. So nothing to worry about. He is there in P6, but yeah, not great for Ferrari, but 4th and 6th is much better than it has been in recent weeks. So there you go. I'm going to do a pause and a quick drink, and then we'll run through the order again. It's for the timestamps later. I don't know why I do timestamps for these, but some people seem to demand them or want them, so I do them. Here we go. Why have I intrigued you? Oh, I'll tell you about it in a bit, Max. I'll tell you in a minute. Bear with me. Lando Norris on pole position for the 2024 Hungarian Grand Prix. He did a 1:15.227. We had a red flag after Yuki Tsunoda's crash in Q3. Lots of cars went out again, but didn't improve. So that was pretty much done quite early in the session. Oscar Piastri, 2/100ths of a second, 22 thousandths if you prefer, off pole position in second place. Max Verstappen third. He does not go for a final run, but again, nobody improves, so it doesn't really matter. Less than half a tenth off pole, so very close between the top three. Carlos Sainz fourth, just under half a second off the fastest time, with Lewis Hamilton in fifth place, Charles Leclerc in sixth. Fernando Alonso was 7th. He's another one who didn't go out for a final run, but again, didn't matter as it turned out. Lance Stroll was 8th. Daniel Ricciardo was one of the, in fact, the only driver, I think, to improve in that final run with 2 minutes to go. Moved up to 9th place on a 1:16.447. Just 300ths ahead of Yuki Tsunoda, who, as I say, had that big crash up at turn 5. The exit at turn 5 went wide, hit, I think, the edging of the AstroTurf, and that sent him airborne, and he crashed into the wall quite heavily, but he looked a bit winded and a bit shaken up, but medical car was deployed, and it seems like he's okay, so good news there for Yuki. Nico Hulkenberg just missing out on the top 10 in 11th place, with Valtteri Bottas in 12th. 13th for Alex Albon and 14th for Logan Sargeant. Logan Sargeant actually a 16.543 to Albon's 16.429 is actually a very, very stellar performance from Logan this weekend. Kevin Magnussen in 15th. Sergio Perez was knocked out in Q1 after he crashed at turn 8. I keep getting the corner mixed up, but yes, turn 8, big crash at turn 8, catching a damp patch, we think, going wide, spinning and into the wall. George Russell nearly made the same mistake himself, but he was caught out by the improving track conditions late on in Q1. He's 17th. Zhou Guanyu, 18th place for him, 19th for Esteban Ocon, and 20th place for Pierre Gasly. And the big headline there for Alpine is, 1, they are the bottom 2 on the grid, and 2, Gasly didn't go for a second run, I think, or at least a third run, or a final run, let's say, in Q1. So that is why they are where they are. So that is the grid as it stands. I did mention on the stream earlier, so I'll say it again. Question marks over Yuki Tsunoda potentially, because obviously he had that big crash. They may need to make some changes outside of part firme to the car. They'll obviously have to repair it, but if they haven't got like for like, they'll have to make some of the changes, which could be a pit lane start or possibly a penalty as well. But he may not. They might be able to do it all fine. We'll see. And Sergio Perez as well, just because of the way he went into the barrier, might be a concern for some of the internals. So we'll see what happens before the race tomorrow. Hopefully they can both start where they are, but we shall see. In terms of investigations, Daniel Ricciardo, Lance Stroll and Alex Albon all under investigation for failing to follow race director instructions regarding the maximum delta time. So I doubt we'll see anything there, because usually that's just a case of getting out of people's way, but they have to check it. So there we go. That is your order. Any questions? We'll do 10 or 15 minutes and then we'll wrap it up there. Looking forward to tomorrow. It is over. Yeah, the session is over. Good lines. Just a few minutes ago now, just on their interviews. So it is all done for now. Thank you very much, Anushka. I appreciate that. Good. I don't know if this is your first time here, but thank you for tuning in. It's good to see you. I hope you've subscribed and all that business, but appreciate the support and the kind words. I enjoy these. I do enjoy these. I really, really do. But I hope Oscar can win tomorrow. That's my big one for tomorrow. Strange Shadow, what are your predictions for tomorrow? What do we reckon in chat then for the win? Who are we going with for tomorrow? I've gone with Verstappen on Thursday. I want to change to Piastri. Obviously, it won't count towards my season score because my prediction was Verstappen. But looking at the race pace from yesterday, Red Bull. The headline is Red Bull were quick on race pace and were the quickest on race pace. But there wasn't a massive amount in it. We're talking a few hundredths. So it's not, it's still going to be very close at the front, but I think maybe might have the edge for Verstappen tomorrow. But I want to go Piastri. So I'll say Piastri today because I'd love to see him get that first win. He's in a great position. McLaren arguably could and should have won at Silverstone with either driver. So let's throw Piastri in there. But I still think Verstappen is. But I think Norris versus Verstappen for the win. Is my shout there. Is the map and timing sheet easy to set up and access, or is it a paid service somewhere? It's done through Multiviewer, Jim. For F1, it's a free app, but you need to have a F1 TV subscription, so either Pro or Access. You don't need the full one. You can just get Access, and that gives you all the live timing. It gives you the track map. It also, as well as the track map, it gives you access to the live track limits tracker, investigations tracker, team radio, radio control, race control messages, AI radio transcriptions, which throw out some hilarious results sometimes. It's got a lap chart, sectors leaderboard, speed trap, lap times, all sorts of that. Absolutely tons of data. So if you like your data, definitely give it a go. The app itself is free, but you do need an F1 TV subscription of some sort. But I think my F1 TV access in the UK is £2.29 a month. So it's well worth it. Again, not sponsored. They just provide this, and I like to give them a shout out because they don't have to. But yeah, I appreciate that. So I just think the visuals look really, really nice, and having the map there really helps when you can't show actual footage. So Rory says, what happened to Russell? He just got caught out by the improving conditions at the end, went out too soon in Q1 when the track was improving, didn't fuel the car to the end, or the team didn't fuel the car to the end, and then everybody else improved, and he just got knocked out. He was actually only 14th before he got knocked out, so it was pretty much on the bubble anyway. Max wants to know what the D'Agostini thing is. It's basically it's a Legends of Ferrari magazine subscription. I think the first one's like $9.99, and you get Charles Leclerc's 2022 car, and it's quite a fairly hefty scale size. Is it 123 or something like that, or something like that? But it's a fairly big one, and they are die cast and all that, and they're really nicely done. And you get sort of one each month, and after so long they send you two each month. They send you like two editions at a time. You get two. I've got Niki Lauda's Ferrari was one of my last ones. Raikkonen's Ferrari. I've got Schumacher's 2000 championship winning Ferrari. Leclerc's 22 car. I think one coming today is Leclerc's the special livery that they had for the 1000th race. Ferrari's 1000th race. I think it's well worth the money for what you get. But it does get pricey, as magazine subscriptions tend to. It gets pricey over time. It starts off at $9.99, then it ends up sort of like $24.99 or something like that, and then it starts ramping up. But I will pay it as long as I can because they are worth it. They're pretty good. So definitely check it out, Max. Check it out. It's worth a look. D'Agostini. It's on the website. They've got a Lotus one as well, I think. Senna's Lotus. So it's worth a look. But I appreciate they get pricey. At the moment, it's cheaper to buy the magazine and get the car with it than it is to buy the car models. So as soon as it goes the other way, I'll just buy the car models. That's how I'll do it. So Lando Norris on pole. How we've done the Russell thing. We've talked about him. Jim says Russell, yabba dabba don't. Very good. Join because KO was downstay because the commentary was so good. Was real good. Thank you very much. Use less meerkat. I love your name. Thank you very much for your nice words there. That's appreciated. I won't be live for the race because I do a race reaction as well. And as I said earlier in the stream, when I've asked before, people would prefer a reaction to a watch along for the race. If that ever changes, I go to doing race watch alongs, but I can't do both because I find that I'm not concentrating enough on the race to be able to then react to it afterwards. So it's a bit tricky, but maybe in the future we'll go back to that. We'll see how we go. But at the moment, quality watch along, race reaction. We usually a couple of hours on a Sunday anyway, so with the reaction. Double points for Williams would be nice, says Eddie. That'd be fantastic. 13th, 14th. I would think It depends on how the updates work tomorrow for Sauber. You think that Bottas would be an opportunity there for Albon and Sargeant, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Ricardo. That's also close in there generally, isn't it? So they could be on the fringes of points if they're not there, but they've got a chance, definitely. Definitely got a chance. Q3's done. Qualifying's all over. Sorry if you've missed. Yeah, it's all over now. Norris on pole, Piastri second, Verstappen in third place. James says hello from Thailand. Hello, James. Hello from Lincoln in the UK. Hope you're having a good week. Had a good week and a good weekend so far. Just trying to flick through your comments that was missing while I was talking there about D'Agostini. Lando will drive away, battle between Oscar and Max for second, says Hoey182. He's looked good, hasn't he? Norris all weekend actually so far. So that's very possible, but I think it's going to be quite close tomorrow. Strategy could be important. It's all down to what the weather's saying. Hang on a sec. Let me just check. Yes, my cars have arrived. They've just told me. I've done a message. What was I going to check? So Hungaroring weather. So tomorrow, 31 degrees air temperature. So you're looking at what? I mean, I think last year got to about 34 and was in the 50s, I think, with track temperature. So the track temperature is going to be quite high tomorrow, which could make strategy. I mean, it's going to be a multi-stop race. It will be a two-stopper. But if it's hot enough, we might be bordering on 3. And that's when things can start to get interesting, can't it? So with mistakes and things like that. So undercut tends to be quite powerful here as well. So I'm not sure Norris will drive away, but even if he has a good lead, sort of when we get to the first round of stops, he's going to have to cover off from the undercut. So that's going to be a good fight. Communication devices. Hello, Callie here. Hello, good to see you. Thank you for tuning in, I guess is what I'm going to say there. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. I think this is what's going to happen if Checo will leave Red Bull. This is from Zekono, by the way. So Checo out, and then they let Ricciardo drive as a reserve. Then RB will assess the performance of that next season, and they'll sign a new driver. There you go. I think... I don't know. I as I said earlier, I think for whatever reason they don't want to put Tsunoda in that Red Bull. I think of all the drivers at the moment, he's earned an opportunity to prove himself in there. So I would give Tsunoda that opportunity even to the end of the season, and then I put Lawson against Ricciardo for this season at RB, and then you've got a shootout then. And if Lawson wipes the floor with Ricciardo, then maybe it's an argument for a Red Bull seat. If Ricciardo wipes the floor with Lawson, then maybe there's an argument to put Hadjar in there for next year alongside Ricciardo. I think it just gives them options there, but we'll see. Anushka wants to know where Carlos will go. Anushka, honest answer, I have no idea anymore. It looked like Mercedes at first, didn't it, when Hamilton was announced to Ferrari? Then it became Audi was absolutely guaranteed. Then suddenly Williams were absolutely guaranteed. Then Alpine came in with a late offer, and that looked like it was guaranteed, and that's now fallen away. I have no idea. Maybe McDonald's, if he doesn't make a decision soon. But interesting from Toto Wolff today, actually, talking about how... earlier today, talking about how... he's inclined to wait now a bit longer because there are a lot of seats available and there are a lot of drivers to fill them, but nobody seems to be wanting to make a move. So he seems to feel like he can wait, and I think he's waiting to assess Antonelli a bit longer. So that's... I don't know. I'm really struggling with Carlos Sainz and where he ends up. I mean, I would still stick him in the Mercedes and either give out Antonelli another time at a bit more time in F2 or put him in a Williams if they can do a deal there. But, you know, I'm not going to go into my concerns again about Antonelli. I've talked about a lot about the concerns about rushing him through, but we'll see. Does Hazard still live in Madrid? Sainz was Hazard at McDonald's, iconic combo. Fast service there. I don't know if Hazard's as fast as he was, but he used to be pretty pacey, didn't he? So maybe there you go. If Sue gets a seat at Red Bull, then what will be the point of Ricciardo being an RB as he wants to go to a top team? Just from an RB perspective, if they did it mid-season, if you put Lawson alongside Ricciardo, you've got a direct comparison between the two, if you follow. I wouldn't keep Ricciardo in that car next year. I did say put Hadjar there instead of Lawson, but I meant put Hadjar there in place of Ricciardo. But or put Hadjar. I mean, there's also again rushing young drivers through. Arvid Lindblad, I talked about him a couple of years ago, and the response I got from most people was who. I was like, he's quick, he's got some good speed, and he's shown in F3 this year he's pacey. He's made mistakes, and he's not ready for F1 by a stretch. But they've got some young drivers coming through, so you could probably gamble on Lawson and Hadjar next year either way, couldn't you? You've got some drivers coming through, but I I don't know what the situation is with Sainz. It's all a bit weird. But nobody needs to rush. Nobody seems to want to rush. And I don't think anybody really needs to rush. So there we go. That's that's my take on that. We'll not keep banging on about the driver market though. Certainly not with Sainz, because it's all. I think he holds the key. I'm still not sure on Verstappen to Mercedes, but we'll see what happens. Jack Doohan should come to Alpine this year. He has been a reserve driver for so long. I think Doohan and Gasly next year will be a decent lineup. They don't want to make the same. I know Piastri maybe. There's an argument that he's a slightly higher talent, if you like, than Doohan is. Doohan still things to prove, but they don't want to lose another youngster to another team, do they? If people start sniffing around Jack Doohan, if he starts to improve and impress, was the word I was looking for rather than improve. But I feel like Horner and Marco don't like Tsunoda because he joined the Red Bull Junior program coming from Honda's program and not because they picked him themselves. Do you know what, Addy Boy? I said that, I said something similar a couple of years ago about how I thought Tsunoda would only be there as long as Honda were there, because he wasn't a Red Bull Junior. It was like you say, was it Honda Dream Project? It was called, wasn't it? Something like that, or is called that, and that's why he was there. So he's not actually technically a Red Bull Junior in the sense that, in the same way that other drivers have been Red Bull Juniors. I don't know. It's all about these constructors, as Zakono is saying there. You know, they need the points, and I mean, look, tomorrow if Perez comes through, finishes top 5, it's a big ask on this track. But if he does, then maybe some of those conversations go away. But he really needed a decent qualifying and a good race tomorrow, and he needs the same for Belgium. I don't buy. Although, I mean, Perez said the options are all still open, didn't he, coming into this weekend? But a lot of the talk sort of into it was that sort of Thursday was that there was no risk of him being dropped mid-season. But if you're a long-term sub, you know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it again. I remember distinctly doing a video on a Tuesday that said that how Marco has said that Pierre Gasly was safe for now, and then on the Thursday I was doing a video about how he'd been dropped for Albon. So you can't always take what Red Bull are saying at face value, or any team actually for that matter, not specifically Red Bull. Hank would gamble with Lawson to Red Bull, but yeah, let's do some predictions for tomorrow. Where do you think, while we're on Red Bull, where do you think Perez will finish? If he finishes at all. So DNF if you don't think he'll finish. But what do you reckon? I reckon he's got a shot at a point or two, maybe 9th. Should be able to dispatch Magnussen, Sargeant, Albon, Bottas, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda and Ricciardo fairly easily, in theory, on paper and all that business. But it's all about overtaking. Your options are turn 1 and turn 2, really. So, you know, you're going to have to be quite quick. If he gets stuck in the DRS train there, then that might be tough. But I think top 9. I think he would maybe pick off an Aston as well. But I don't see him getting much higher than 8th place, really, tomorrow. Yeah, true. That's true, Benny. Magnussen will be very hard to overtake. Even more so now he's not got a seat for next year. He's got a point to prove, hasn't he? Jake says P12. Benny said P12. Hank says 15th. Toeli says P9. The Hatpro says P9. Jim says, I reckon P9. Jeremy says Magnussen deserves a Red Bull seat. There you go. P9 for Borry Pats. Yeah. So we're all sort of in agreement. Tail end of the points then is what we're saying, isn't it, really? But yeah, we'll see tomorrow. But I think Verstappen versus Norris for the win. Hopefully Piastri's in that mix as well. Would like to see Piastri get the win. I'll stick with prediction for Thursday for Verstappen, but it's going to be a good fight. I'm interested what Russell can do actually from 17th. I have, just on recent form, I have more faith on Russell making his way through than Perez, but Perez is going to have to take some risks tomorrow. He needs to perform tomorrow. He's going to have to. But then this is the problem, isn't it? It's the snowball effect. He's now got to give it everything tomorrow, which means he's more likely, again on paper, to have an accident, which is going to cause. So it's really, he's in a real tough spot right now. But I will say this: some of that, as some have pointed out, will be the car, but he's in a rough spot because he's put himself in that rough spot as well. This is the second year in a row we've gone through this phase at a similar time of the season. That's not coincidence. Yes, the car will play a part, but drivers make the difference. And Martin Brundle it's a point that he makes so perfect. He's absolutely bang on. You know, when Last season when Perez was 2, 3, 4, 5 tenths slower than Verstappen, it didn't matter because that was still probably second or third on the grid. Whereas now, 2, 3, 4, 5 tenths slower than Verstappen, you're getting 4 or 5 cars in that space, maybe 6. That's the problem now. So this isn't a new thing. It's just come to a head now that the field is closer. So we shall see what happens. I think I'll definitely in the car for Spa. It's quite a quick turnaround, really, isn't it? Hungary to Spa, only a week. So, but after that, we'll I mean, how markets are going to assess in the summer. So, considering I wasn't going to talk about this anymore, we just talked for about 10 more minutes on it. So there you go. Welcome to the F1 word. If you knew, it's what I do. Like when I say I'll talk for 20 minutes longer and then we'll end the stream, and now I'm at 10 minutes to 5, so I may as well go another 10 and then we'll call it there. As Jonty will vouch for, an F1 word hour is any amount of time other than exactly 1 hour. It's how we do it. So any more questions then about the race tomorrow ideally, but we'll talk about anything F1 if you like. We'll do 10 more minutes and then we'll call it to 5 o'clock then. That'll be a nice little round number. Yeah, basically Kevin, wind Sean up and let him go. It's just who I am as a person. You give me a topic and set me off on it, that'll be it for 10, 15 minutes. And I will repeat myself as well, but I'll keep doing it. It's what this should be as a channel. Benny says, chance of rain tomorrow. I think I just saw 20%. I'll check it again. So tomorrow is Sunday. Well done, Sean. So 3 o'clock Hungarian time. Yeah, 20% chance of rain at lights out. That jumps a little bit to 30% during the race. Pre-race, it's actually 40%. So the chance for shower before the race is highest. So possibility of a little damp start. Then dry out and then maybe some rain, but 30%. As we always say, 30% means 70% chance it'll stay dry. So, Joseph said, will this be the starting grid, what is currently shown? We think it's all going to come down, Joseph, to Tsunoda and Perez and whether they need to make any changes outside of Part Ferme. If they can do like-for-like changes for the damage, then they should be okay. But if they need, they've got, a front wing of a different spec, they'll end up starting from the pit lane instead of broken Part Ferme. Or is the pit lane on the back of the grid? I think chassis pit lane, isn't it? It might be pit lane, but they won't be starting where they are if they have to make those changes. But if it's like-for-like, they should be fine. But Perez in particular could come down to the internals, and I'm not sure what his power unit parts are for the season. I can have a look, actually, if I can reach my keyboard, because I'm sat at a weird angle. See what his power unit component usage is. Let's have a look. Sergio Perez is... So Perez has used 5 ICEs, 4 turbochargers, 4 MGUHs, 4 MGUKs, 3 energy stores. That took me a minute. Control electronics 3 and 6 exhausts. So he is on the cusp of a penalty. Yeah, so if he has to take any more like an ICE, engine store, control electronics, then he will hit a penalty. So if he has to change any of those, then he's in trouble. I think is it 10 places for first breach and then 5 for every other? So you could 10 places for your first your next ICE, but then 5 places for every ICE after that, something like that, unless they've changed that. So it'll all come down to that, but it's just because the car goes in rear end and then comes around a little bit. So we'll see if that needs. It's quite smashed up at the back, so there could be damage there. Christian Horner almost head in hands on the pit wall. Didn't shake his head this time, but yeah. Just for anyone tuning in very, very quickly, the Russell's down because he got caught out by the conditions late on, people improving lap times. But he was quite like his lowdown anyway was 14th, but yeah. Yes, Hat Russell's refreshed. It's okay. It's not only 15 likes. It's got 457 likes, 530 here. If we can get that to 500 before 5 o'clock, that'd be great because that'd be all the 5s. And then I'll go away and listen to Keep On Moving by 5, and then it'll just be the triple 5. There you go. Why not? So yeah, please do drop a like and subscribe if you're new as well. Milne, John, Marcus, Charles, Steve, thank you very much for your subs as well. Appreciate that massively. I think we're about to lose. Oh no, it's still there. That's all right. Multiview is still there. Sergio says he's disappointed. I'd imagine he is very disappointed. I can put headphones in. I just can't see if I can catch this. Let me know if I missed anything, Kevin, while I get into this point. Oh, stop it now. Described it as best Friday of the season yesterday, but yeah, I don't know. Says it's just one thing after another and something that needs to change quickly. So, yeah, about what you'd expect from what I just caught there, unless Kevin picks up anything else there. Yes, Lee, 5 is also the number of dry tyre compounds. Yes, it is. Nice. Oh, you're good, Lee. You're good. I'll save that one for later in the year. Why not? But yeah, unless you've got any questions, I'll wrap it up in a few minutes and then we'll call it a day. But I'm trying to avoid some of the driver market talks. We've done a lot of that today, and we tend to. I know it's a big talking point away from the track, but I'm not going to keep reminding you about Russell and Perez as well, though, because that's the big stories. But yeah, I've got a feeling we're going to get a good race tomorrow. And I was right about Silverstone, so it's about the only thing I'm ever right about. I enjoy most races. I've said it a million times. I enjoy most races. I think they're always good fun. Just going to have a quick look here and see if we've got anything else on the old Twitter sphere. Let's see if there's anything said. If anything plays, I'm so sorry in the background. I just want to see if anybody said anything on Checo specifically or anybody else. Penalty-wise. Helmut Marko, this is from Tammy on Twitter. Helmut Marko on Perez in the second seat says, quote, "We wait until the next race in Spa and then make a decision." That doesn't sound good, does it? Yeah. There'll be people now go, maybe new to F1 or don't follow this sort of thing quite so much, but when Helmut Marko says something like that, it's not looking good for Checo. But make no mistake, if McLaren were not resurgent, Perez would be in that car to the end of the year. If Red Bull was still well clear in the Constructors, which they are really, but if they were still gaining points to everybody else, he wouldn't be going anywhere. But because of this Constructors fight now, could cost them. They're going to have to make a decision. Either Checo steps it up or he has to go. And I'll be honest, that's a little bit gutting because I do like Perez a lot and I do defend him a lot, but there's a point where, as somebody said to me last week, there's a point where you can't defend the indefensible. You can't just keep defending somebody because they're a nice guy or because 5 years ago they did something amazing. There has to be a point where you say, look, that's just not good enough, and they have to make a decision. So if Helmut Marko's saying things like that, he's definitely under threat, if nothing else, but I don't think that's massive breaking news to anybody, quite frankly. I think everyone's pretty clear that's the way that's going. So Vettel will be great. Oh, Jake, don't. I'd go mad if Seb Vettel came back for so many reasons. In a good way. I'd be so happy. Just trying to see if there's anything. Doesn't look like it, no. But it is a front row lockout for McLaren. Yes, it is. Just mentioned there on the old Twitter. But yeah, nothing. I try to keep Twitter open for these things, but yeah. He did his job in 2021 to help Max, but it's time for Perez to go, says Hank. Kevin, the clouds of Marco are rolling in. The clouds of Marco. Very good. I'm going to try and find, is this the final result of Q3? Yes, it is, Mr. Drek. It is. Norris on pole, Piastri second, Verstappen third, Sainz fourth, Hamilton fifth, Leclerc sixth, Alonso seventh, Stroll eighth, Ricciardo ninth, Tsunoda 10th. As I said a moment ago, Tsunoda, Perez, keep an eye on them tomorrow for they might need to take some penalties. Just trying to see if there's something other than Perez talk. I know he's going to dominate things, but if there's anything about tomorrow. Yeah, doesn't look like it. So we'll probably call it there now. 3 minutes to 5. We'll call it there. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in. Massively appreciate your support. Thank you for all your subs as well, for your super chats, for your likes. We're nearly at 500. Let's try and get that there. Really, really appreciate the support. I love doing these. They're a lot of fun. It's nice to just chill with some fellow F1 fans and talk about Formula One. But it's not over for the weekend because, as I take a breath, I will be back tomorrow, shortly after the race, around about, unless we get a load of red flags and safety cars, around about 5 p.m. UK time. That's BST at the moment. For the race reaction, I've got Stuart, aka Chainbear, with me for that one. So looking forward, as always, Stuart, for that one. Looking forward to that conversation. Hopefully a cracking Grand Prix. Looks like we've got a good grid. Some cars out of position, which is always exciting, and a really good fight at the front. So it'll be interesting how the McLarens can work together actually tomorrow early on in the first stint to keep Max Verstappen behind. If they need to work together, they might disappear, as some have said, but we shall see. Again, thank you so much for your likes and subs. If you haven't yet, please do drop a like. 470 likes. We're 30 away from 500, so let's get those last 30 in as quickly as possible. That'd be great. And subscribe if you're new as well, so you don't miss the stream tomorrow. And then, of course, the preview on Thursday for the Belgian Grand Prix. The qualifying watch along for Belgium is on Saturday again. That'll be about the same time, 2:30 p.m. And then, of course, the race reaction next Sunday for Belgium, which will be again around about the same time, unless we get some red flags, etc. and etc. I don't know why I said it like that, but I did, so I'm just going to go. Just one last thing. Anushka says, unpopular opinion, Piastri is better than Norris if he figures out his tyre management. I don't know about that. That's a conversation for another day, Anushka, but thank you for your chats today. But I will just say, I think Piastri's a really good young driver, and I really rate him quite highly. But the last time I rated an F1 driver, it was Stoffel Van Dorn, and that went well. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean. This has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.